budgeted now, when we get into the FY27 budget.
So what you're talking about right now is the attachment that's local revenue fiscal year 25?
Nope,
This one right here, budget to expense report.
budget to expense.
Which sheet are you working on?
Budget to expense.
It's not in,
It's not in the
Not in the
packet.
packet.
No, I have that over here, budget to expense.
Yeah,
But you sent it, right?
yes, I sent it, yeah,
That was the first thing I think you said.
yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're good, we're about to throw up the presentation.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Let's go through, should we go back to that, or do you wanna do the?
No, we'll finish this up real quick.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, it is what it is, it's pretty straightforward. There may have been money requested by each department to move money from one account to another, to really show the actual expenditures per line item. So,
so,
I just wanna make one request.
sure.
Just tell us which sheet you're on when you're talking and which line, where you're at, so
Yep.
we can find it quickly and
Yep.
look. Same thing instead of trying to catch up. Please, thank you.
I have a question.
I know I'm getting old,
And it
but
may be just me, not me being new to the committee. The Department Code 120, which is general government, that was a surprise to me to see that, because it wasn't on anything else, it wasn't on the budget that we passed or anything like that, so I guess I'm wondering where these came from. It's the second grouping on page 1.
So that one is what was left over for ARPA. ARPA required that we spend it by December 31st. And so to close out ARPA, we used the the education line item. And then there were a few that we needed, we knew we were spending out, and we moved it up to 120. And right now, as of today, the only thing left is $5,000 for the single audit.
So that's from ARPA. And you said the education,
Well,
I'm sorry.
sorry, no, everything I say is reverberating here.
Oh,
Maybe because I'm
It's bad,
sitting
I
here.
can
come up to the,
Yeah.
to the table.
So that was what was left over in ARPA that wasn't necessarily spent by December 31st. So we internally did line item transfers, budget transfer to allow for those few line items that we had expended. And that was one of those, in the meeting July 18th that everyone thought we didn't have the money for, it was there.
But this was only until June 25. So you're referencing something not spent by December 25.
No, December 24. ARPA required it
Okay,
to be
thank
spent
you.
by December 24. If I said 25, I apologize,
No,
I was
that's all
mistaken.
right. Nope, working in 3 years sometimes.
I completely understand that.
Thank you.
So
Okay,
the money left, the 29 and the Wachusett assessment, we paid that with ARPA.
Yeah, that is there because we closed out ARPA with the Wachusett assessment, correct.
Okay.
I might not be.
No, wait, can you go back? You were just talking about Department
Sent it
120,
on
right?
9/19.
General
General
government?
gov,
Okay,
Perfect, thank you.
so you said,
Final
what was,
budget.
so we had an internal.
I mean, ARPA's not in these numbers.
Because ARPA isn't part of the budget.
Right.
Right, but we had a policy of, that we could move things around. And so that was, we just did that so that we wouldn't have a concern that the federal government would want us to give it back to them.
Correct, okay, I understand that. So you,
ARPA, to close out ARPA by December 2024,
yeah,
whatever amount was left in ARPA, and off the top of my head, I don't have it, I can certainly, but we used for the school assessment, the last school assessment that was due November 1st.
okay, but wait a minute now, so
Okay.
that's, you're saying school assessment, we're talking about general government.
Yeah. And then we transferred what was some excess from the school assessment and put it into this 120 so that we would have the money for those few things that we knew we were waiting for those invoices to come in.
Invoices on committed ARPA funds,
Committed projects.
committed projects supported by ARPA funds.
They were no longer supported by ARPA because,
Yes,
yeah, I
the
just want to.
invoice hadn't come yet, but you had started it when ARPA was a thing.
Yeah, and the auditors just made us a little bit concerned that if everything wasn't spent by the December 24, that the IRS, the federal government might call it back, and we certainly didn't want to give it back.
They were talking about that, yeah?
Yeah. And that's why I did the 120, so that it was transparent, that it wasn't in any other line, it's very transparent what,
Well, okay,
There will be no more 120 once it's bled dry.
most likely, I mean, we could use a general government for some, but right, it would, I can't say ever,
So is
but
it like a miscellaneous?
general government, yeah, yeah. So I created the 120. ARPA had the department code of the original ARPA from the grant money had a department code of 120, and so I kept that when I brought it over to the general fund.
Does anyone have any questions about,
What kind of encumbrances are there? Because it's a lot of big numbers and I just kind of would like to know where the
Yeah, I was
encumbrances
just
are.
getting into that,
Yeah.
Aaron, before I.
That-
Recording in progress.
All good.
thank you. So,
Yeah,
so
go ahead.
what yours, I'm just trying to understand this, that's
Of
all.
course, ask away.
So, the 120 wasn't in the original 2025 budget, that department?
No, it wasn't a voted line item, no, it was an internal transfer.
Okay,
Yep,
all right, that's why I'm
is that,
confused, okay.
yep,
Now okay. So these numbers were put in for that money you said that was there to make sure we had it, so that's why there's some left over now.
yes.
Some left over.
Yeah, and so in July, we paid off that
Okay,
project
all
for the
right, all right,
roof.
all right,
And
all
then
right.
the only thing as of today is 5,000 because we know we will need a single audit because the ARPA funds in fiscal 25 were so
Okay.
much.
Audit, okay.
Yeah, that's like a different, but just because federal spending that we had in 25.
But do we owe this $5,000 for the audit?
We're gonna have that audit, they've started working on it now.
But this was in the last budget, so is this money encumbered?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Okay,
So encumbrances are 81,000.
821.
Thank you. And they consist of, the 2180 that you're saying there on that 120, the facilities needs. Under that 120 that you have, Department Code 120,
Yep,
okay, 5,000 for, the single audit,
yep.
$826.62 for the treasure collectors.
And what was that for?
An invoice that wasn't paid by,
Yeah, but what line? Sorry.
purchase service, I.
Purchase services,
Yeah.
82682,
Yeah.
purchase services. Treasure collector. Okay,
Dispatch had 4,053.60. And that was dispatch purchase services.
okay.
Central Tree Fire Pump Make Safe, 49,180, and Seth can speak to that, but that is something that was taken from the school assessment.
They take it from the school assessment.
So there was.
They
mon-
gave us money?
No, so there was money left over in the school assessment because
Well,
we had
just one-
because we had used the ARPA funds to pay down the school, so that left additional money in that account.
29,000.
No,
49.
there's 49,
9,000.
and then that was what's there is what got turned back.
But-
What you see in that is what
Okay.
was turned back.
300 says 29,000, so, right?
Well, so it's So that's line 310, Department 310,
Yeah,
education,
I just moved
49.
that so that it was clear, and so I did that at year end with, like a year end an internal transfer, so that it was transparent that, what that was for in 25.
Okay,
So basically,
clear as mud.
the sprinkler, fire pump at Central Tree Middle School, it was gonna be almost $100,000 to replace the sprinkler pump. But because they had tied in the water line into the, Rutland Heights property, the water pressure and volume increased. We had, they came out, and this was the money needed to remove the fire pump, and redo all the plumbing for the, sprinkler system. And now there's no annual maintenance, it's all pressurized through the water system, so it's cutting down on future maintenance costs for the school.
What's the cost?
Next one was DPW.
Well, before we go
Go
up it,
ahead,
so
go
going
ahead.
back just one step, you mentioned there was a number for dispatch. Now, that's a number, you said it was, how much for?
4,053
So,
and 60 cents.
and.
That was an electric bill. They had a couple electric bills that didn't
Right,
get
that,
paid.
that we paid for then, that 4,000, so how does that get put back to dispatch so it gets split up between the whole bunch? Or proportionately charged back? If it does at all,
It doesn't, cause if they had paid it before June 30th, it would have just paid, it would have come out of that purchase service under dispatch.
right?
So now all I did was carry that money from fiscal 25 to 26. Because it was an expense of 25.
It was always, their budget was already proportioned out to the 5 towns
Right.
in FY '25. So that money for that 2 electric bills was already proportioned out. So because the bill hadn't come in, it was just carried over and paid.
Okay, all right, all right,
That's
all
it.
right.
So
Yes.
it's,
Right, that
there's
is-
no
Thank you.
issue.
Now I understand the question,
Yeah,
my
there's no
apologies,
issue.
yes, he
Okay.
did
Yep.
a better
It
explanation
got
than I
proportioned
did.
out before.
Correct.
Correct,
Yeah.
okay, all right,
I think that's what Tommy wrote.
Yep.
Yeah.
correct.
Yep. Next one is $85 for DPW.
Which one are we looking at here? What department?
DPW, which one? 421, highway, just general highway,
421, okay.
$85.
That's for
keep going.
purchase services.
Yep.
Keep going.
$200 for Board of Health
No,
purchase
keep going.
services.
Let's get to I mean, if it's less than 1,000, like, let's just,
then
can we
it
just
won't-
go? Because this is, we're,
Yeah.
Then Donna, would you be so kind so that we aren't bothering Mr.
Yeah,
Could you
there's
send
only
that to us
there's only
in an
one more.
email?
There's only one more, $675 Council on Aging purchase services.
Thank
And
you.
that totals the 81,000.
I'm
I
sorry.
mind. I like to know where the numbers are going.
Absolutely.
I'm sorry.
Every number counts. Every number counts.
Okay.
When we're looking for $10 here or $20 there, they
Yeah,
all count.
but encumbrances are bills that hadn't come in time before we had to close the books.
I
So
get
they
it, but
were-
it makes a difference when you're looking at what was available to date.
Right.
So that's the reason why I wanted to know. It makes a difference.
Okay.
It's reconciliation, guys.
Yep.
Is there anything anybody else has to add or subtract or question to this? I think they gave us a pretty good, if anybody has any more questions, let's bring them up right now. We can certainly bring them up at a later date if you plow through it and find something else,
A
but
lot left in health insurance.
And that can fluctuate each year depending on who's in the plan, who's out of the plan. So
And I understand that, but
would you ra- would
This-
you
this
rather
one-
have it turned back or have to come back for more money?
you know, guys, I won't ask any more questions. That's
Just
fine.
asking.
no, wait a minute,
Fine.
time out.
These numbers that we're looking at now, though, on this report is what's gonna tie into when you explain to
Yep,
us the
correct.
free cash.
Yep.
Right.
That's what I'm saying, I'm just,
Absolutely, yep.
some of these numbers, I just wanna
if
make
they're
sure I'm on
numbers-
the right track, that's
So
all.
let's
talking
reel-
thousands, it's
Guys,
definitely worth
one
discussing.
second.
Yeah,
I'm gonna reel this in.
okay.
I have no problem with anybody asking questions. Karen, you should ask the questions because you think of things that the rest of us don't think about, and so don't. I want you to keep going with your track. You're doing fine. No, don't. You're doing good, cause if you catch a lot of stuff and I appreciate it. That being said, does anyone else have any other questions in the group that we can help sort out right now, and that includes you.
So from the statement, it looks like we transferred, it looks like we have, am I reading this correct, that we have 40,000 that we carried over into the new year? Is that correct for health insurance?
That didn't care, that closed out.
That closed out and became part of the free cash.
Okay.
What department was that one you're looking at?
914.
So we
914.
usually do, when we put the health when we budget for health insurance, we usually budget for like 1 or 2 additional families. So that seems like a lot of money to have left over, but did we have employees leave and we just didn't add them back, add others in?
I mean,
I mean, I know it's over and done with, but 40,000 is a lot to have left over.
Is it though, how many people do we employ though, if you think of it that way? It's probably,
But not, nowhere near all of them are getting health insurance.
Well, no, I would think, wouldn't part of that be, every year we talk about the budget, and at least what I've heard in the past years has been, when there's money added in extra in case there's a new employee.
well, there was always a couple there that
No,
they
no, I'm
always
just
did,
saying, in
right?
case there's a new employee or something, but if you have an employee come in and you have somebody else leave, that kind of sometimes balances off, so I was assuming that this number was just because we didn't have to add a lot more.
But I understand Lynn's point.
Right.
I think that being 40 over is good. But I understand where,
But
It's
did we
a lot,
over
it's a
budget?
lot.
Yeah, no, I agree with it,
Yes.
it's a lot, I don't disagree
but
with
I'd
that.
rather be on that than,
Right.
Oh, then under, I agree with that.
but I do, yes.
Can we do something with this feedback? Is it?
I think it's kind of maybe dissipated after this, it's only an annoying, little annoying.
It's annoying.
It's not.
Okay. Could one of you guys come in just for a minute, and we can show you what we're dealing with here? Please?
Yeah, I guess, to go along with what you said, what, like, if an average employee has a family plan for the year, how much is that in, in round numbers?
I'm sorry, I don't know that
Oh,
off the
okay,
top of my
all right,
head, I
okay.
apologize. I
Oh,
Coming back from the TV,
Speaker, getting their feedback through the speaker.
you have multiple audio sources on at the same time.
Yeah, that's, so. I don't know, if no one's on Zoom, we can turn the TV down.
Sure.
If you notice someone on Zoom, you can turn it up. How's that?
Okay.
I'm good with
I don't
that.
know if that'll work without it. Today, we've been having a lot of issues with feedback lately.
Oh, should be doing that.
Where's the knob? Just turn it down.
There's no knobs anymore.
And now they're not even on the front, now they're on the back, you gotta turn around.
Mine's like up there, I wouldn't.
And these fingers fit 3 of them at the same time, so it's never good. All right, so,
Thank you.
Right, sorry about that, guys.
No problem.
Thank you very much.
is everybody good with where we're at for now?
For now, I like that for now.
Can you explain to me the lease payment for the fire department?
At the fall town meeting last year, we paid off the last 2 years of the lease.
Okay, so that was something.
There was a special article that was approved by the Finance and Select Board and went to a fall town meeting last year.
Okay,
Okay, so what line was that one?
So that might be another piece that
780.
we're missing is, like, I know that you sent some
780?
articles.
7, lease
but when-
payment.
Cause that's where I was
Oh, yeah.
looking at,
Yeah,
any
that was
articles
part
that
of the
offset
special
some of
article.
these weren't
Yeah,
in
okay.
front of me.
So we get 24, so we're back 24 because we paid it off early, 24,
yeah, we
740.
spent money in the special town meeting last year to get it, and thank you. I do
So-
remember now that you tell me, but I didn't
Right.
remember it when I was looking.
So
The savings.
under public buildings 192, there's a line for town offices electricity and there's $38,000 left in there. I thought we were short on electricity.
That's the line item that was just appropriated in November of last year. That was a new line item that was added at the special town meeting last year. It is also part of the budget this year. So spending from that didn't start until December or January. They may not have actually used it till January. And so that's the one I had pointed out a few meetings back that is fairly new for electricity.
And I think that we asked that we split electricity out, so each department has it where we can see it, right? Am I saying that the right way? Yes.
I think it wasn't just electricity, I think it was any purchase services that is not negotiable,
Fixed
so
cost.
that we're,
Fixed
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 costs.
cost ones, just to help us out,
Gas,
cause it's always that,
electricity, water, you know, those kind of
all those
things.
ones that every year we get
Right.
tripped up on, and they're shown in different ways, so Seth agreed to that at the last meeting, so I think that's going in the right direction.
So as a line item, if it started in January, 6 months worth, we didn't bleed it down by half. So for next year, budget-wise, we have a better idea of how to budget that, right?
Correct.
That's how I would look at this information also.
Okay.
Yeah,
If we're good for tonight.
For
on
6
this,
months there, it's only a quarter used,
That's what I take away from that
Yeah.
also.
about, I mean, round in.
And there may have been some confusion which electric bills were to be paid from that, so some of the electric bills could have been paid out of the building, individual building purchase services as well, so.
In this document, Donna is closing out last year, that's the final, right?
That's the
We're
final
done.
version.
We're done. Okay, perfect.
Yep.
But
Now,
it does
any-
fold into free cash.
Yes.
I don't recall how that particular one is printed, but anything that is 010, the first three, that's the general fund, that's your general fund operating. If it's 020, that's the special article. So all of the special articles that were on there were rolled to the following year. We didn't close anything because we had the idea that we might use them at the special town meeting.
Okay. So, I think we should, if, for now, we should jump into the free cash report.
Okay. All right, I kind of put together this, slide deck here for you to review the free cash. Again, this is, a high level looking down, just to kind of give you a general idea where the money's coming from. I won't get down into the weeds of, every line on a balance sheet, but it'll give you a general idea of, what pot of money is showing up, and where is it going, and why did we get it, so. We go to the next slide, guys. All right, obviously, we all know what Department of Local Services defines free cash at, pretty straightforward. Next slide. One of the things I want to point out is Division of Local Services, under sound financial policies, communities should have between 5 to 7% of the annual budget turned back as free cash. That's a healthy community that would turn that much back. Okay, so next slide. So this is a look back to 2004, where our free cash has been. We've had a couple of negative years in the early years. That has since been corrected. But really, since 2017, it's been pretty stable with a couple fluctuations. So nothing crazy. Next slide. This is percent of the free cash to your operating budget. So it kind of gives you a general idea of where we are. So basically where the line across is right around 3.5%. So it kind of gives you what our average is. So obviously this year is a little bit higher than it was in 2020. So compared to the overall percentage of the last year's budget.
So that 3.5% is below what you just put up there.
Yeah,
as
so,
5 to 7.
DLR says between 5 and 7 is a good, healthy community turn back, okay?
And I was gonna say, or a questioner was gonna say, so the 5 to 7 is what they're saying is when you budget something, you have enough in your budget to cover your expenses, but hopefully you got a
Yeah.
little cushion there.
Correct.
That you're gonna give back at the
Yep.
end of the year.
Yep.
Okay.
So that's what they're saying. And that could be through different ideas. It could be really conservative on the revenue projections, so that you get them turned back on that. So those are all different things.
So that line actually, the dotted line would actually
Is our
be
average.
moving.
Yes,
right,
correct. Yep.
And it's, the percentage is based on the total budget, not just the town.
Right.
Operating budget.
Entire $29 million budget was last year, so.
So that's part of it. Part of what's interesting from my point of view is because you've got like a rising school thing, right? And they have sometimes brought stuff back, but like, I'm wondering how, so now it's important to see, like, where's it coming from?
Sure, absolutely, yep.
Yeah,
Before you advance.
Yeah.
The 3.5%, 3.5%.
Yep.
Is that including those first
Yeah,
3 years?
Yep.
Like, what would it be, say, instead of the past 10 years, maybe the past 20 years? What's it been really in the past 5 or 10 years?
right.
It would be better, I think, right?
Yeah, it would be
Do
better.
you know what
Yeah,
that is?
I can run the numbers and send it, absolutely. Yep. You know, I can go back just the 10 years to
I think we're gonna be
2015.
a lot closer to 5.
Yeah, so again, I think that comes back to good financial policies and good management, you know, the finance team doing their job and doing a great job, so.
Well, yeah, if you, on that right there, if you only go back to the 2015, that dotted line's gonna move up some.
Sure,
there.
absolutely, yep.
Right.
So, next slide. Again, this is all from the DLS website. I will send this deck out, and you can hit the links at the bottom if you want to go directly to DLR's website. So again, this is all the free cash each year, the prior year budget, and what the percent was. So you can just see it in the number form. Next slide. Next slide. Guys, can you go to the next slide? Thank you. Okay, so everything starts with the end of year, and I'll let Donna explain this. What is done between the treasurer and the collector's office?
When I gave my explanation to Seth and to Jen, I was just showing that our revenues agree between the treasurer and the town accountant. And so this was just documentation to show that our revenues agree. They point out, oddly, that is not always the norm in many communities. But it is here in Rutland, so.
And again, that is strong treasurer and strong accounting doing work, so. Next slide. Okay, as you know, this is a small version, but you all saw what the free cash certification is, but I will break it out real quick. Next slide. Okay, at the very top number on your thing is the unreserved, undesignated fund balance, 2.4 million. This information is directly from the balance sheet on page 2. Next slide. Right at the bottom. Again, that 13 million is on this as well, but now you gotta take that and spread it out between the water, sewer, enterprise funds, stabilization. You take all that stuff out. What is undesignated is the 2.4 million. So that's the number, that very top number that you would see on that. Next slide. All right, the next two numbers is we gotta subtract personal property tax receivable and real estate tax receivable. Okay, and this is at the top of page 1 of the balance sheet. Next slide. Okay, they're found here. Next slide. Okay, other receivables, overdrawn accounts, or deficits. These are the things that have to come out. These are typically end of year grants that haven't been closed out, the reimbursement from the state or other agency hasn't come in. Again, so these things have to be drawn out. One of them was from the Conservation Open Space grant that they had. Council on Aging had a, I think this was the van, for the new van. Police
Oh,
Department.
no, I'm sorry, the conservation one is, the next one is a van.
Yes, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
I apologize.
Yeah. Police had a traffic enforcement grant that starts early spring. So by the time they got the paperwork in, we hadn't received the funds yet. State 911 training grant, that's the 6,900. And from police off-duty details, this is basically road details they do. This always shows up in every single year. It's basically during the summer, is big construction time, May, June, that they're doing the road details, they invoice, and the money hasn't come in time. But again, we'll discuss that a little bit later. This is also found on the special revenue balance sheet on page 1. Next slide. All right, So basically, in the right-hand column, anything that's in parentheses is a negative number. That's what you just pulled out. The only exception to this is Chapter 90. So any Chapter 90 money that's receivable to the town, they do not hold that back from us because they know the state's gonna pay us. Next slide.
Sure, they will. We all at the same time. 4 or 5 years later, but we'll get it. They're good for it.
And this is the agency fund balance sheet, and this shows the police detail. This was the last number on that page. So, next slide. Okay, deferred revenue at the bottom. We'll get that, that's 65,000. This is also found on page 1. This is a combination of 3 items. Next slide. Okay, so this is your personal property, your real estate taxes, and allowable for abatements. Okay, so that's where that number comes from. All right, next slide. All right, this is the one you have in front of you. It's in your packet. All right, so this is the cash proof description. This is what I emailed out to you guys with the differences from 24 to 25. But each line has a specific. Yes, that's the one you got.
This is the one?
That's the one. Yep. Yep. All right, obviously, current year calculation, the 2.2 million, that's what our free cash is, so that's the very second line. The 997 was last year's total. Next slide. All right, free cash was certified on September 8th by DLS. Amy Hanfield did that, so that they agree with our numbers. Next slide. All right, number 2, excess or shortfall local receipts. All right, so local receipts, this is what I sent out the other day. This is what we estimated revenue on, what we estimated to what actually came in. The difference is, next slide. At the bottom is $775,288. So again, being very conservative on revenue estimates, we received more. A lot of people bought new vehicles, so excise tax was much higher. Investment income was higher because the interest rates were higher. So again, I sent you that paperwork so you can see what was estimated, what actually came in.
The big line item there is the dispatch, right?
Correct, and Donna will be happy to explain that one.
That's a whop.
Yes. So we'll get to that in a minute.
Okay.
Okay. All right, so again, almost, I think, there was like was it 400,000 increase, or 300 and something? Yeah, 300 and something increase in that, from what we had estimated here. So again, so that's one piece, okay? All right, next slide. Okay, so the next one is actual revenue received but not estimated. Okay, next slide. Okay, closed out special revenue funds, 308,997. Again, this is another source of dispatch revenue that was clawed back. Miscellaneous revenue would be workman's comp, injured on duty insurance claim that I reimbursed to the town. That was not anticipated, so that's 64,000. State revenue not estimated, that's an additional 21,000. You'll see where that shows up in a minute. So again, unanticipated revenue coming in, $394,000, and again, 308 was on top of the increase that you saw previously from dispatch. You add the two of those together, it's $778,000 or $770,000. It's a lot of money. Okay. All right. So next slide.
Seth, before you go to the next
Yeah.
one, is there any way to prevent that from happening again, or is that the stars aligned and it went?
Well, I would say it was the amazing work Donna did to research where the funds had originally come in years ago, and they were probably put in the wrong bucket of money, and I'll let her explain it a little bit better, but it's an interesting thing, so. Go gently.
Gently.
Do you want me to, I thought you were gonna I apologize, I
No,
thought you were
no,
gonna finish the whole thing.
just when you,
No, having to do this. So, yes, it was a great deal of collaboration of work with the dispatch. The dispatch, there has been some need for some time for reconciliation. I think some of it really was because the town did not have a full-time town accountant for a very long time. And there just wasn't time to do that detail. And it wasn't long that after I was hired that I realized something isn't lining up. And it took some time to realize what wasn't lining up and what needed to be done. There were numerous occasions where expenses were put on a warrant through the dispatch department using the general fund for a number of years that were grant expenses. And then those grants were asked for reimbursements, and then we received them. So we lowered our appropriation, but then received the revenue. And that is part of what one of the 300,000 is. The other part is there were numerous reimbursements that were never requested. The grant funds were used, but a reimbursement was never sent, or wasn't sent timely, and that we received it late. As we get on, you'll see, which I did point out last year, but I think the number it just didn't get heard maybe, but last year's free cash was lowered by $167,000 because we had a deficit. As we went through, we had just a few deficits this year, which are normal, because 95%, 90% of grants are reimbursable. Very few do we get upfront. There are some, but most of them we have to spend. We have a grant authorization, a grant award letter. I wouldn't allow an expense for any grant without that award letter. But we don't have the money up front. We have to pay it, send the invoice, and they get reimbursed. So there's a great deal of paperwork and staying on top of it for all grants. Our dispatch are numerous grants and big numbers. So I kind of lost track of what I was saying here, but so then I found that there were that in fiscal '23 that reimbursements were never even asked for. A letter was requested and sent to the 911 part of the state from the director asking for permission to, because we'd missed the deadline already, and he had to kind of just ask for this specific word I can't.
Forgiveness.
Yes, and can we apply for it? They did then, that letter went out April of 2024. So that money did not come in. So then the reimbursements were requested and we received that money in 2025. Some of the money is money that we should have received for the town of Warren when they came in. The town of Warren didn't pay the community, the state paid it, that was the incentive to join. So 24, Warren's fiscal 24 money was received in 25. That's a part of this $600,000. So there's $300,000 that you see on the local revenue, because that was money that was part of our local revenue money. And that is why I put it there. The 308 in this section here that you're looking at, that is money that we eventually received through reimbursements that we hadn't received. And frankly, if I hadn't done all the work, it may have been missed.
So two questions from the dumbest guy in the room. Do we have a stopgap to prevent it, or the new system to, cause as complicated as this all sounds, can we prevent this whole show from happening again?
I think we're caught up, and I think we are moving in the right direction.
Okay. Cause it just,
2027, they're a district, so it's on their own.
but we gotta get there, and
Yeah.
there's,
You only got one more year, and then they're a district.
Well,
They'll have a
I-
full-time accountant on their own.
and guess what? It might not be 2027, right?
We'll see.
Hoping it
We're
is.
hoping.
They might not move, but in 2026, they will be a district. They're already a district, so.
I understand that, but,
I understood.
Right.
alright, next slide.
Still in our budget for 2026.
Okay, the next line is excess and shortfall and cherry sheet receipts.
Sorry, can I just go back to that for
Sure,
a second?
yeah.
Because, so, the way I understand this is that we essentially had to budget for the money to fund the regional dispatch until the point in time where we receive back the state funds via reimbursement.
Yep. Not really.
Not really.
Not totally,
If I
no.
may- Right, the dispatch, the dispatch has where if you were to look at his budget, yeah, he explains that there's a $539,000 grant for wages, and then the town appropriation, that's different, I don't have that one memorized, I apologize. So there are two separate ways that we pay wages. The grant is a specific time frame and a specific amount for simply wages. There's also a deal in towers.
Yeah.
You know, there was one invoice that was $494,000 for a tower.
Yeah.
He can help me with where that tower went. But then there are also expenses that we cover, so it's a very complex setup. It's very complex.
Well,
I
just,
just feel like, is Rutland, since we don't have the dispatch, essentially sort of like, holding the money until we get it back for whoever's taking part in this, fabulous little ensemble?
So the general fund money should be is covered through what the towns pay us, through and the local revenue, that's part of the local revenue where we have the extra $308,000. That funding that we receive from each community covers our appropriation. Their other expenses are through the grants. Where some of the situations happened here were when new communities came on, the Commonwealth through the 911 enticed the communities to come on by saying, you're not gonna have that town assessment. You know, we're gonna pay it through a grant. And so some of that grant reimbursements were slow in being requested, and so that caused some of our problems.
Right, but that essentially resulted in Rutland paying the funds now.
Right.
And then getting reimbursed later by the
Yes.
state.
this year,
Yeah,
we paid them then, and now we're getting
Right,
it back this
exactly.
year, that's
So
why this
you-
number's so,
yes, that's why, yeah.
Right.
we've
but-
finally caught up with it,
And some of them are 2 years old.
yeah.
Yeah, it's just like that's like a liability that Rutland
Oh, yeah.
has until this happens, that I don't think any of the other communities have to worry about. They just get an assessment, they pay the assessment, and they're good.
That is correct.
So that's like, that's a big
It's a part of
liability.
regionalization that it is not necessarily discussed when the
Yeah,
Commonwealth says
yeah, yeah,
regionalization
okay,
is a
good,
great idea.
yeah. Anyway, it's a short-term problem, but like,
Right.
holy
But
cow.
it makes up for a big chunk of this 2.3 million.
And thank God we clawed it back,
Yes.
right? I
Yep.
mean, it's
Yeah,
huge.
bravo,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yep, so it was good.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay, so this 13,000, can you go to the next slide, guys? Okay, here it is, unrestricted, so basically our cherry sheet numbers that we had used at town meeting can fluctuate during the year. And at the end of the year, this is the differences. The 21,000, you saw that in the previous slide with the dispatch. So it's just the top three numbers equaling the 13,854.
I thought we were pretty close on the cherry sheet.
We are, but again, it can change
The
during the
cherry
year.
sheets are estimates too, so there are times that they give us a little,
Okay.
the unrestricted probably wouldn't, I didn't cut you off, did I?
Nope,
Sorry, no.
nope, nope.
The unrestricted won't really change. I
Okay.
mean, If that's gonna change, it's gonna be because they reduced it on us, yeah.
It's gonna go down.
Yeah,
That's not gonna go up, that's gonna go down.
I'm good.
okay, next slide. Okay, the unencumbered from appropriations, okay, this is what we previously went through, so next slide. Again, at the bottom of your sheet, remember the 760,000, 81,000 was encumbered, and that's where the 678,000 comes from, okay? All right, next slide. All right, 77,000, all right. This is prior year free cash that we didn't spend. So next slide. And obviously, last year we had 997,317. These are the buckets that we spent the money in. And the remaining 77,344 was rolled over into this year's free cash. So that's where that comes from. All right, next slide. All right,
Why didn't we spend it?
we don't want to spend it all.
I would disagree with that, to be honest with you.
Why didn't we put it into the funds that we should have funded but didn't if we actually had it?
That
Do we
was-
know that?
That was a decision between you and the select board at the time.
That was a decision, no, I'm gonna correct the town administrator. It was a decision made by the previous town administrator
And the
that we
select
had no effect on. That's, I'm just gonna say that. How's that?
All right. Okay, so prior year outstanding receivable totals, 95,000. Next slide. All right, I'll let Donna explain this one, because this one's way over my head.
This is a calculation the Department of Revenue they compare the previous year receivables to the current year. Keep in mind, they're only comparing general fund they're only comparing, real estate and personal property and tax title. They do not compare motor vehicle or anything water sewer, or stormwater. And so they're saying that our difference from 24 to 25, our receivables lowered. So that means our collections were higher last year than they were in fiscal 2024.
So, again, this puts kudos on the treasurer's office for, going after all that. So that's a good deal. So, again, it's another pot of money that's coming into the free cash for this year. Next slide. All right, $113,060. Okay, the net change in adjustments to free cash. So next slide. Okay, so this is FY 25 and 26. So last year they held back 167,000 from us. This year they're holding back 54,000. So now they're going to give, since we received, the difference is 113. So now they're giving us that. So that's the difference between the two.
And they being the state?
The state, they're saying that we can free that up because they had previously held it back. So that's where all the free cash comes from. And there it is. It's pretty clean, straightforward. And the state 911 money that Donna had discussed is a truly one-time revenue source. That is 100% truly one-time revenue. So minus the 700 from the 2.2.
You're right where
we're right. You're not a little higher than where we were, but not drastically. So,
well, I'm glad we clawed that money back, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
I think this is very easy to explain to the general public. We weren't hiding anything. We weren't, being anything. I think this is just good, strong accounting and treasuring work that's being done in the finance departments to get this back. So,
to be perfectly honest, when we first saw it, everybody was like, "Oh my God, it can't be right, right? How could it be right?" But then
we've never seen numbers like that.
Right, yes.
We've never seen numbers like that. So it's but
it's good. It's a good place to be in.
Yeah. So
when did you start this? Like, when did you say, like, oh, we gotta go after this?
last year.
Well, the letter was sent in April of 2024, so I started this in probably December of December of 23.
So I guess, the only thing you might say is like, could we have communicated that this is out there for us to possibly get? But if you don't have it, you can't use it.
Right.
So like that would have just maybe been a false sense of security or something. but like we
probably
didn't
would've
even know to hope for this.
It would've muddied the waters, right? Cause someone would've said it's
Yeah,
out there.
that's true, too.
I don't mind the way this happened, but I understand what you're saying. Would've been nice to kinda know about it, but sometimes it's better off not knowing, cause someone would've already.
Stealth
Surprises are
mode.
nice.
What's that?
Surprises are nice.
And this was a surprise, but it's sometimes surprises get spent before they.
That's true.
Yeah. And I just wanna point out that, since Donna and Nick have been a team working side by side, we have never, years prior, have had free cash certified so early. We've always been waiting to the days before town meeting in November for free cash.
And we've had to move town meetings
Correct.
because it hasn't
Yep.
been.
That was a few years ago, but yes, we
Yeah,
did.
so, again, that comes down to, strong finance department doing great work, so it's a good team effort. Okay, so that kinda leads into,
No, I have a question.
oh, sure, Tommy.
So all those slides you just showed us
Yep.
up there with those real big letters
Yep,
and numbers
yep.
on the screen. We don't have that document, do we?
No, I'll send it out tomorrow.
Okay,
Okay?
alright. Okay.
So, if
I'm
He
just
didn't
asking-
want us to have it ahead of time to ask questions.
I thought maybe I missed something, that's all, okay, thank you.
all right, Mr. Chairman, back to you.
Go ahead, next.
Okay, so this kinda
Leads right into-
leads right into, the, special town
town
meeting. Restoration of
Do you
line
have a
items.
warrant yet? Like a,
It's at legal counsel right now for review.
okay.
Once that's
So we're up
back,
to 16 articles?
there's actually 30.
30.
There's stormwater, there's road acceptance, there's a lot of other stuff that's not financial.
So there is a
Bring a
warrant
snack.
There is,
in a
it's
draft form.
correct, and it's at legal counsel for review. You get it after the review.
Why can't we have it before the review? If it's a draft form.
Do we?
If you follow your calendar, you technically won't get it until a couple weeks. So. But we're talking about the, line item restoration, which is this document that's in.
But it's a couple weeks earlier than we got it before. I know,
Oh, yeah,
we're going down the right path.
yeah, yep. Don't worry, the select board haven't seen it either, so.
Well,
Okay,
Did the select board make certain recommendations as to the warrant?
they gave general guidance, and then department heads were issued, these are the guidelines. They submitted their articles. It was open to the public to submit articles. All the articles were taken, put in the right order, cleaned up verbiage wise, sent off to legal counsel for review. So that's where we stand right now. Okay, so did you share the original line items with them that you had first cut?
Yeah, I believe, the selectmen's meeting, Tamika gave it.
Okay, all right. So Donna, at last month's meeting or 6 weeks ago, Donna had started this review process. I took the opportunity over the last 10 days to meet with individual departments to review those, make sure they were comfortable with them. If some could be reduced, some could, maybe they needed more, or there may have been a line item missed that they needed to be brought in. So again, I kind of broke this out. You can see what the final expenditure was from last year. You can see what was
which sheet are we looking at now?
this one here.
Not the one with the red
Two.
ones.
Yeah, it starts at the top with one.
And then there's a second one.
These guys, right?
Yep. Top line should be selectmen purchase services, should be the top line. Okay,
I apologize, it printed kind of wonky and I didn't realize it, so I'm sorry about that.
Okay,
all right, so going top from left to right, obviously you got the line item number, the account name, final expenditure from 25, what was appropriated at the annual town meeting, what amount would be necessary to bring it back to FY 25's amount, what the department is looking for through raise and appropriation. We'll get to that in a second. The next column is use of free cash, so these are things that have been broken out as one-time expenses, not annual costs. And the last line item, last column, is the closeout of prior year articles. That only impacts the library. As you guys had talked with the library months ago about moving some of their library articles.
And that's working, right? We're gonna be able to.
That's all set, so that's why it's listed here, so they asked for X number of dollars, and we broke it out between raise and appropriate, free cash, and through special articles.
And that's gonna keep the library.
We'll keep the lights and the heat on and the meetings going.
Good, I won't say that publicly. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. All right, so pretty much, this is pretty close to what you guys have already seen with just a few modifications. After discussion with the select board, we had changed the town administrator's salary line item to be the appropriated up to the $140,000, which was the plus or minus advertised amount. Granted that there's enough money in that account currently at the 128 to fully fund this year and any higher amounts of negotiated salary.
That's an example that I think you said.
Yes, that's on the last page, yeah. So you see where it is. Again, this was to basically bring it up, the appropriation to what they anticipate the full salary would have been for this year. So that way next year, it's not a huge, it's not going from 128 to 140, 145, who knows? Again, that money will be available to either go back to free cash or be moved to any other expense if needed later on.
That's the final page.
That's the final page. So if you can see where each warrant came out, in the very top, if they negotiated at that rate, there's enough money to pay what's currently in that appropriation. Town admin purchase services, we use free cash to pay the Collins Center. That was originally part of raise and appropriate, but we just pulled that out and just used it as free cash. Added an additional $30,000 to your reserve fund, just in case we miss something through this process. You guys have some ability, pretty much spent almost all of your original appropriation. So hopefully you won't have to use any of this, but again, we want to park some money there. That way there was a safety net for you guys in the future.
Seth, just in case you're using this for anything else, this department code should be 132, not 131.
Okay, thank you. Good catch. All right. And tax title, the treasurer's office is going aggressively after two properties right now to either resolve the town take ownership or whatever else they may have to do to move some of these tax titles forward. The $10,000 is put aside just in case we end up with additional costs associated with 91 Central Tree.
And that we will be able to
add on to that lien.
We'll be able to
Correct.
get that, claw that back.
Correct, at some point.
Eventually.
Eventually, yes.
Potentially.
No.
No, you would. Absolutely.
It has to sell for that
Yeah,
property.
but we have to sell that property
Oh, yeah.
to make sure it's not nearly worth what it was when there was a building on that.
That property is worth more than what they owe,
Okay.
so we're fine. We're still,
Karen, I think the property is worth more now.
And that might be the case, but, you never know.
Did you just say treasurer's office?
the tax title, purchase services.
We've already given him money.
Yeah, that's handled through the
So
treasurer's
that's gonna be
office.
34,000.
Treasurer collector's office,
Because we gave him money already from our reserve fund.
right.
But we didn't give him what he originally asked for.
I understand that,
What
but now
he
we're doing
originally
another
asked
30.
for
Is here,
is here, it's not gonna come from our reserve.
correct. Yep,
Because he,
But it's
because
already
we
come
have to.
from our reserve.
yeah, you have them, right, to get it.
A portion of it has, but the rest that he was
Yeah.
hoping to get that we didn't give him will now come from
Correct.
free
Free
cash.
cash. No, most of it's coming from raise and appropriate.
Raise and okay.
Yep, okay, and the 10,000 is,
Being asked
Should
for
we remember-
$40,000.
Do we remember how much he asked for? I thought it was, 15 to 20?
That's what I thought, and we gave him half, and now all of a sudden, I'm like, wow, that's 30 extra on top of what we already gave him.
Wasn't that before the fire?
You gave them 5
Okay,
So
first time.
so the new budget for him would be 34.5 on that. Just doing the math.
You're talking about the purchase
title.
services for assessors, yeah?
No,
No,
Tax
one,
title.
Tax title.
Fund 158 tax title.
it's on the first page. Underneath town council.
oh,
I thought it was more money, but I could be wrong. You three are thinking
I
it
was
was,
asking for 20.
we gave him a considerable amount less, but
This isn't all related to just that property,
no,
right? It's just going over
there's several that are
delinquent.
there's a
moving
bunch
very
of them
quickly.
now.
Yeah,
Yes.
so I think that's maybe the point to
Yeah,
emphasize is this is not all 94.
no,
No, and it isn't even the other one that we
Yeah,
couldn't talk about, we kinda heard about.
Yeah, there was 6 or 8 of them.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
that he
there's
said
a
was
bunch he's
pursuing.
working on.
and they're finally getting to the stage where now this is the next phase that they have to push through, to work through these things legally.
It's only become more
No, you
opaque.
you have
do this.
to, you can't let it go.
No, exactly.
Oh, no, but you can't let it go, but it's become blurrier in the last few years from what it used to be. How to get there.
Sure,
They-
it probably costs us more money to get there,
Well, because of new
Yeah.
things that we have to, hoops and stuff we have to jump through.
right, and that costs us money and that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we gotta.
And the goal is to
keep chasing it.
get it back on the sale.
If we get it back, will it end up in free cash?
Yes, yeah,
Unanticipated revenues or something, right?
yeah, yeah.
But we would hear about it.
Oh, absolutely, yeah, cause it would be a public auction. And anyone could, it's no different when we sold the property next to Dunkin' Donuts.
Yep.
We took that, paid the lien, recuperated, sold it, and so, same idea. The other one that you see is the crew trust liability, for $25,000, free cash. We have several people retiring this year.
What line is that, Seth?
That is
992.
992. Yeah, right under the town clerk.
Okay,
Okay, that is to pay, unused sick time buyout, for 3 town employees. And to have enough money in the trust fund for next year, to keep the balance where it needs to be for anticipated, next year.
just for giggles, how many,
There are 3 people retiring,
understood that, but how many sick days can they accrue, or whatever? we're
so
buying now?
the way the policy is written, they can, I think the maximum is 1,400 hours, I think, is sick time. They can get 1% bought back for every year of service in the town, in service to Rutland,
Of the 1,400 hours?
of the 1,400.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep, so. All right,
And that's mostly negotiating contracts.
yeah, correct, yeah, yeah. And 2 years ago, we started to put money aside in this, it's just all of a sudden, we've had 3 senior level people who've been here for more than 20 years that are retiring all at once, so. There won't be, hopefully it won't be another big wave like this for a while, we can, accumulate a little bit more, so. All right, anything else on the first page? Look over the top.
Sorry,
Yeah.
are you doing that via raise and appropriate
No,
or
that's
free
through
cash?
free cash.
Okay.
Yep, yep. Cause it would never be funded at that level through raise and appropriate
Exactly,
years.
so that's why
years
I'm
ago. Yep,
asking.
Yep. All right, what page you guys looking at next?
Animal control?
Animal control, okay.
That's with animal control.
All right, perfect, all right. Okay, animal control, there was just little money put back in their expense accounts. The $3,500 is they have to replace the furnace and the hot water tank, in the dog pound, in the Jen's office. The reason why it's use of free cash is basically it's a one-time expense for repair to that building to get through the winter, and it's required to be heated by the state to be
Where is
used.
this said,
It's one behind DPW.
okay,
Yep. It's 15 years old already, so
okay,
by putting it there, Nick is basically gonna carry that money into next year's assessment, so we can proportion that out to the other towns. So we will recoup some of that in the future as well.
And that's why you wouldn't put it on capital either.
Correct, yeah, yeah, because it's split out amongst all the other towns. You go down through the fire department budget, really the big number is the restoration of overtime. And then the 14,000 that's in free cash is for turnout gear. That prior was in the operating budget, but last, I think at the roundtable we had here, we talked about using maybe capital or free cash for an article for that. So if you want it in raise and appropriate, you can go there, but I just pulled it out in free cash.
How many? That's two?
No, that would be 4 sets. Yeah.
That's only two?
Yeah.
so, you know the overtime is getting cut?
Oh, yes, yeah. And the problem with that is the fire union contract has 2-man minimum, obviously, because it takes 2 people to operate an ambulance. We had 2 people out on injury, so we're usually staffed with 4 people during the day and 3 on the overnight. So there were a lot of shifts with 2 people minimum. And we did the calculation for the first quarter of this year, we missed 38 ambulance calls that the crew, if it was fully staffed, would have been able to handle. So 38 ambulance calls can equate to almost $35,000 of revenue that we lost.
And who handled those missed calls?
Mutual aid towns, yeah, Holden, Paxton, Hubbardston. So again, it's just, it's money spent, money comes back in with the work that we do, so.
Thanks for explaining it to the group, because it was a big,
Yep. And you can see last year we spent 112, and this just kind of brings us up close to that at this point.
Seth, I was at a meeting that you had talked about the turnout gear and how the replacement has changed significantly.
Yep.
I don't know if it's worth, I think it's a continual, I think it needs to be put back into a budget because my personal, because it's a continual, there's never gonna be a year that you're not, I don't know if anybody else has heard, it used
why
to
we're
be
here. That's why
like
we're here.
every,
Yep.
I don't know, whatever,
Yep.
but it's significantly changed now.
Yep.
So maybe quickly say what that cadence is for.
So basically, the gear, as of next year, has to be manufactured PFAS free. Okay, obviously PFAS is never a lifelong chemical that causes cancer, and it was put in this material to basically protect us from heat and exposure at fires. But when we sweat in this turnout gear, we absorb the PFAS into our bodies, and that's why cancer is the #1 killer of firefighters. So as of next year, you can no longer buy any turnout gear with PFAS in it. But it's become more expensive, obviously, and then the life expectancy goes from 7 years down to 20 washes.
That could be 1 year.
Well,
That could be 3 months.
you never know.
Well, that's my,
Yeah.
so that's my question, is this now a consumable, or is it still, could you consider it still capital?
It doesn't fall under capital because it doesn't meet the $25,000 threshold per
Oh,
set.
okay, I thought it might have been.
Yeah, so that's
but how
why.
about the group would?
Again, it's
But you do.
it's an item cost. It's not a cumulative cost.
It's a consumable.
It's consumable to the point. Yeah. So
So it should be in the budget.
Yeah,
you tell me if you want me to move free cash to raise and appropriate. There's capacity in raise and appropriate to do that. But I wanted to give you
I
the
think
option.
it's,
Well, if we don't do it this year, I think we definitely need to start doing it with 27.
I think we're giving a false impression of the liabilities of the town if we don't have it in the budget.
Well,
Well, you'll see when we go to town meeting that obviously it's free cash, but it's gonna end up in that line item for this year. It's just being funded from free cash this year. It will be in that line item. So next year, when the fire department proposes their budget, it will be in that line item. And you won't see a huge increase.
And I would suggest then putting a line item for turnout gear, so we
We do
know
have that.
It is
Yep.
just specifically
It's
for
just
turnout gear.
turnout gear makes up 95% of that line item. The rest is hose.
So what are we thinking it's gonna be a year, Seth? Would you
Do you have an
guesstimate?
estimate?
It would be 14. In order for us to stay on a rotating cost, it's probably going to be closer to 25 in the next couple of years. So 14 is a start, and then we'll just see how it goes.
Depends on how many times he has to wash it.
Yeah,
And you wash it every time.
we wash it after every structure fire, yeah.
So
Or
that's
every
25 hours.
reportable
Hazmat.
hazmat.
Every time
yeah.
that you put it on. it
No,
needs-
no.
Okay.
No, you go to automatic fire alarm, stuff like that, motor vehicle
Okay.
accident. No,
Okay.
it's you have to be in a hazardous environment, reportable hazardous environment in order to.
And it's 20 times?
So next year's budget's gonna include it,
Yes. Yep.
the free
Yep.
cash component already.
Yep.
Okay.
And you don't, and going with what Carol said.
Yep.
You think the 14 or whatever that number is gonna be good. You don't need, you're not holding back.
So we have a company coming in 2 weeks to go through, basically professionally clean all of our gear and evaluate them to see where we're at, and then start coming up with the replacement cycle. And then,
that cycle-
next year we'll have a true number. Of
And
where
that
we're
cycle can start next year.
Correct.
Covered,
Yep.
that We're
Yep.
good till next year.
Correct.
But if we have, I'm sorry.
No, let's go ahead.
But if we have the free cash now, isn't that a good use for it?
Absolutely.
I'm not I'm not wed to it either way. I just am talking about going forward after this. And again, that needs to be designated as a fixed cost, even though it's not
Right, yeah,
necessarily
yeah.
It's a
fixed, but it's
consumable fixed
non-
cost,
It's
unfortunately.
non-negotiable because that line item was cut in half
Yeah.
So I guess as long as
for the budget.
Yeah.
there's,
not
what Lynn said, if we gotta use your free cash right now, he doesn't need it right now, so let's hope, if we're gonna have it.
There's gonna be a considerable amount of free cash remaining that if we do an article at the annual, you could do that as well.
Okay,
Yeah.
there's no benefit of doing it right now.
No, not until we have a full evaluation of what we have. We won't have a number before town meeting, so.
You could always go to stabilization to fund it at like an annual town meeting.
Oh, absolutely. There's other
So,
avenues,
I mean-
and we leverage this money every year with grants. So there's a lot of 50-50 grants out there that we have to front the first 50%, and then we get 50% back from the state. So it's very helpful.
And maybe with this problem coming up, the state
We're hoping the state will pony up
step
some money.
up a little bit.
Yep. So,
Doubtful, but maybe.
all right.
What's our zip code?
All right, building inspector accounts, basically he brought back his alternates, basically purchase services, code books, stuff like that need to be replaced, between plumbing, electrical, and building department. And then the new line item we talked about, 2 weeks ago was the weights and measures line item. We'll have an account number for that at some point.
Okay,
But why are we increasing the gas inspector's salary?
yes.
242. And I might be wrong.
5120?
Is that the alternate?
That's
The
the other.
It's not the alternates, and it looks now like I
It says
Gas
gas
inspector,
inspector.
missed,
Alternate-
I
alternate
looked at
wages.
something incorrectly, I'm
Okay.
sure.
I think it says gas inspector alternate, not. Okay,
Flipping over, should be Wachusett. So
Assessment.
the assessment, there is, obviously, you do know that the assessment came down, after town meeting. We used 58,000 of that for the hot water heater at, Glenwood. So that came off, and then the balance that's remaining, that's sitting there is the 60,900. It's your choice if you wanna free that money up and reallocate it to others, or do you wanna park it there and leave it there, that it's available to move at the end of the year. It's really your choice.
wonder if it could fund that. They said they weren't gonna do it, but don't we have a capital something with the high school?
3 years. They're not gonna fund it, 3 years.
No, but I think he's talking about the maintenance. Didn't we establish or want to establish a maintenance fund
We
for the
did.
schools?
We funded that, no, he was talking about the capital one that the school's gonna do.
Right, so it made me think of though, maybe can we fund that with this? Is that useful or no?
We get monies from the school already for that maintenance, and that's why we're putting it into that fund so that we can see what gets spent for it.
That's an annual payment from the schools. to
Right,
do the
but
outside.
but it depends on whether or not, like, that could be in deficit, right?
So-
So I don't know what the current
Well,
status of
Well,
that
it
is.
shouldn't be, it shouldn't be.
Well, it's reimbursed, right? So you have to pay the bill and then you get reimbursed. So if
yes,
you
the
don't have the
article
money in
is
there, you
written.
can't.
To fund.
Karen, you
No,
thinking
no
that they're
article.
not gonna ask for
that's what we
something
need
for
to
3
figure
years,
that out.
even though they said it?
Cause I'm like, I
They said they
didn't, I
wouldn't
didn't.
ask for it for 3 years.
That was voted on, right? Like,
Take one out.
That was voted
Jerry
on.
made the motion, it
Yep.
was voted
Oh,
on,
yeah.
it's written.
It's good,
Yes.
okay,
Yep, it
I'm
was
just,
voted on, 3
You would
years.
have to make,
But can it be
I jumped through a lot
unvoted?
of
I mean,
stuff to do with
it was
the other one.
unvoted.
Let's
Yes,
not try to worry about things that we can't control.
Worry about it tomorrow.
Alright, so
Don't worry, when it comes in, we'll then bring it up.
what is your recommendation on the school? Reduce it and
No,
free it
you're
up?
talking,
The 69,000, 60,000.
line item, that's this one here,
Wachusett's assessment.
60
the
grand.
60,900,
That's basically, we
So if
all,
we leave it, it becomes free cash next
correct,
year?
yep,
leave it in free cash.
it's your choice.
What would you recommend?
I would leave it there because something is gonna break over the winter at the school. That's gonna be an emergency repair that we're gonna have to find money for, just like it was last winter.
So we could transfer it and use it for that
Yep.
purpose.
And that's what we did this year is the school did the procurement, the school paid the vendor, and then we reimbursed them because it was over 35,000.
It's not very transparent.
It was very transparent, Karen, and I thought it was done very well. And
To the average person who's a taxpayer here in town, I don't think that was very transparent. I agree with you, I understand what happened. But I think it's a better idea to take it out of here, and then that way, if something happens, then we have to go in and we have to do something at the annual town meeting. Or hold another special, we've held
I
special
know.
town meetings for one article.
Yeah.
So we can do a special town meeting for a special one-time thing. And then that way, everyone knows what we're spending the money on. It's,
what's the health of that maintenance fund? And is this
so
a silly
the, so
idea?
the,
maintenance is different.
so the maintenance fund that the school.
Covers up to the 35,000?
No, no. So the school pays up to
Oh,
the
that's
30
different,
the
that's
school
just
pays up to-
DPW, okay.
Yeah, so
Never-
what they
I
gave
remember
us
that.
is,
Sorry.
proportioned out to the DPW for
I
maintenance.
should have
In
remembered.
that contract, Darren's gonna intercede here, that contract is the work, when we get a chance to redo that one, we
Right,
gotta.
the 35K is what I thought that.
Well, what,
Yeah.
at 35,001, the school releases all their harm and we pay the whole thing, which is, in my opinion, the worst. I've never seen one like it. I know why they did it, because it was easy.
When we talk to the schools, we should make that one of the talking points.
Well, it can be, but there's a contract negotiated in Tamika.
It ends June 30th of 26.
So it's coming up.
It should be reaching
It's-
out soon.
Yes,
It's coming up, so I think when we talk to them about the budget, we should also talk to them
and,
about this.
yes,
I think we better start thinking about that well before. When they come in, it's in March, it's too late at that.
Oh, no, I was expecting that we talk face to face to the school people this fall.
Yep.
For sure, for their initial, for their, what they think is like an 8% increase, why is it an 8% increase? I wanna have that conversation
Our
this
Rutland
fall.
people?
Well, let's hope that we.
Our Rutland people, I would ask that Jim, what's his face?
Riley.
Riley would come in.
Yep, okay.
we can
Didn't
do
we
that.
ask for a meeting with them this fall?
We asked for information to come
Information.
to us, but I don't think we asked for a meeting.
Yeah, the first bit of information you should get from the school is the certified student population by town.
And that's coming
That
up.
happened yesterday.
That happened
so-
yesterday, so we should be getting it very shortly, so.
And I think we can, with our town administrator designee, I think we can request that meeting.
Yeah.
Cause he's gonna see him before we're gonna see him. And if we have to go knock on a door, we can do that as well.
Yeah, I think that's, I think
Let's
it's
see where
good
it
policy
goes,
for him.
and let's get number one, and
No,
then,
I think it's a great idea,
Stay
but
right
You
on.
also gotta remember too, though, is we can talk about the budget part of it, but as far as the contract goes, we don't do anything with the contract. That's up to the selectmen. We can
Well,
Well,
We could
I
have
know.
make a
say.
recommendation,
Yes.
or we can say, this is what we think should be done,
well,
but
I
we're not
think,
gonna be negotiating with
No,
But I
them.
wanna
but we
do
can
that
put a
too.
bug in his ear, right?
Correct.
throw a bug in his ear, and then maybe I can, that's something I can say at the,
Yep.
at the chairman of the
Correct.
finance committees, and then he can say it there, but we gotta get the selectmen of 5 towns to say,
Yeah.
we gotta do something different on that little line, cause it's crazy.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's, and to speak to it, one last thing, and then we'll move on, and I was the one that trying to get out of here at 8 o'clock, is Seth has bargained some things that the prices were a little high here and there. Fire alarm panels and things like that, when you get another number, it's mysteriously below the 35. So by shopping it around, it behooves them to be 38,000 versus 35, and it's unfortunate for us.
It also incentivizes poor maintenance, like,
Correct.
it just doesn't
Absolutely.
make sense.
It doesn't make sense,
Yep,
but it's
absolutely.
Does not make sense.
okay.
Yeah,
Moving on.
moving on. So leave it or cut it.
My grass straw, unless we can all go around the room and say it, I think we should leave it.
And when you say leave it, what,
Leave it right where it's
Don't
at.
reduce the assessment. Allow it to either close out to free cash or become available if there's an emergency over the winter at the school.
Because right now
leave
it's
it in the line
appropriated.
item
Correct.
for what our assessment was,
Correct.
but it's not going to them.
Not going
It's
anywhere. Yes, yeah, it
It's
stays.
still our money.
Still our
If we
money.
need to spend it outside of the assessment, so with the assessment going up, if we need to spend it outside of that, we need to reappropriate it.
And I see Karen's point of view, it's not transparent, but I think it is because we would hear about it. It's not gonna fly.
we would hear about it. But I don't think, in general, the actual taxpayers hear about it. Unless you go looking for it. Because what happens here is the school gave us money back. And we're not showing that Wachusett gave us money back.
Yet, I mean,
But that's what I'm saying. They came back with a lower number than what was appropriated. So at this point, isn't this something that we need to say, hey, guys, look at, Wachusett gave this money back? Versus keeping it there. I mean, I can see it both ways, but I'm just thinking, it sticks out like Wachusett gave us money back.
I'm gonna say one thing, and I think that you're gonna hear all about the fact that they gave us money back by the schools by the time we get to anything, cause they like toting this one everywhere.
Of course.
So,
But this way we can say, look at it, it's coming back.
No, you'd have to still look at the numbers to hear about that, right?
well, they bring it up.
Well, yes, but like, it's not like there's gonna be an article
No,
at the meeting that says, and to accept back $69,000.
No, but it
right?
would be on this backup sheet that
So-
would be available.
That's true.
If we reduce this, it would be written in the article to reduce the assessment of the Wachusett
Right.
budget by $60,000.
So that's true, so
So
you would
you
have
could-
that
you could-
publicity that you're looking for.
Yeah, you could do it that way.
And then if
Except
something.
it's really twice that.
Right, but we can also stand up at town meeting and say, oh,
Right,
by the way, it was
I agree
actually
then.
more.
I think we should
But
reduce
this number, they didn't actually give it, but we didn't pay them.
We have not paid them the difference.
We
right?
have so much money in a budget item that, and then they give us a bill for
quarterly
their
bill.
assessment.
To reduce
It was
assessment.
less
Yes,
than what we had
Correct.
in the
They
line.
reduced.
and it was actually 118
yeah. It was what, 100
or something.
19,000, yeah. It was just right around 120,000, so,
118,
yeah,
120,000.
yep, so, okay. Take it and then we'll just, okay, moving on.
I think we should have a, we should,
should reduce.
he's looking for direction, and from a recommendation, we should have make up whatever we're gonna say and make out a vote.
Okay.
So it's not just what we all been talking about.
I'll take a motion from someone on the floor towards what we think we should do with the 60 grand.
I make the motion that we reduce the raise and appropriate by the $60,900 for Wachusett assessment.
Second.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
You just did.
I'm sorry.
You whispered.
Do you have any more, discussion on this?
Do you mind just reading that exact number one more time?
$60,900,
Thank you.
even.
Now, if it was $100 and something thousand, where's the rest?
We did the water
Already had
heater,
spent.
yeah,
in school.
yeah, 2 days before school opened.
Right.
So, the point of discussion, so this is gonna not be in this line item anymore. And the only reason I liked it where it was nobody can touch it except for this. And now we're putting it into the general fund that and the rest of the free cash could be spent in other ways if we need it.
This has nothing to do with free cash. This has nothing to do with free cash. This is
Where does this motion land it?
so it's gonna be in the wording of the, we're amending the budget and
So,
the
but
school
there's
budget.
still gonna be 60 grand in this thing?
No, you're basically reducing the, raise and appropriate amount by 60,000. That would
So,
have
but
needed.
it's not banked
No.
once we do this?
No, you're reallocating it, so,
Okay.
You're
in some of the other
generating
ways.
the potential for free cash.
Yes. Yeah, or not taxing to the maximum.
Can we reduce this 330?
That's already reduced it by the 60. So the 60 is reducing that already,
Okay.
Yep.
okay? Alright,
And no, nobody can touch it, because it would have to come up again as
Right.
a recommendation to do something with it. It'd have to be a town meeting, we'd have to
yeah,
go through this
So
whole process.
we're just doing it before the end of the fiscal year?
correct.
Correct.
Yep.
Okay.
So if we do this, does it then become available if the boiler in this building goes?
No,
No,
nope,
Doesn't be, and we can't even use it for the school.
correct. If you vote to reduce this, then
You have to have a special
You have
town
to- for
meeting with
whatever.
an article,
Yep.
like we did for
Yes.
other things.
Yep.
yeah, but to answer your question, it doesn't become available to easily just say, okay, we can use that money to pay this.
No,
We'd have
correct.
to go through the process of
Yep.
appropriating the money.
Yep, that's correct.
So it is there to use, but it has to go through a process.
So the only thing the reduction does now is reduce what we're raising and appropriating by the 60,000. That's all it's doing.
Right.
It's not, has nothing to do with free cash or, hiding it somewhere else or moving it somewhere else.
Nobody's taxes are going down though.
You're
Potentially by
generating
60
the
grand.
potential for free cash, if your revenues come in the way you
Yes.
thought they would.
And all we're doing is we're making it faster, we're just doing it halfway through the year instead of doing it and I'm not in favor of this, but I'm not gonna sway anybody's vote. I think it should stay right where it is, and I think Karen had a good motion. We can, does anybody have any more discussion on it?
Donna
Go ahead,
does.
Donna.
So, the big picture, the whole circle is that in order to come up with these additional ones, these additional line items that we're talking about here, we're talking about making the local revenue as high as possible. So earlier in our meeting, we talked about how they should be lower by 5 to 7%, right? So just keep in mind, I don't know, I guess I'm thinking maybe we should continue talking before you vote on this, just so you understand the whole thing, because we're then gonna get to the revenue part. So as those few meetings in July and August that we were attending and department heads were coming and very concerned on how they were gonna make it through the year, and then we met group together with with the selectmen and the finance, and we talked about how there was a way we could increase local revenue to the absolute top, that I would be able to sign for it with the Department of Revenue. It wasn't a number that I necessarily wanted to, but I felt like wasn't just raining in Rutland, it was pouring, right? So we'd come to the rainy day, and so that might be in your consideration. If we don't reduce, there's pros and cons to both of it. It does make sense to have the 60,000 there. What if there was another break at the school that we had to come up with something? We'd have to call a special town meeting. It came in handy that we had the approximate $60,000 for the one issue that happened 2 days before school
We
started.
have 3 old schools.
Yes.
But now when you're looking at budget versus budget versus budget versus budget, now we're gonna look at 617, and that's not what the budget was for. part of that is for a capital improvement.
May I ask, how were we able to utilize that to fix something for that much money without, I mean, I guess this is an assessment for the school, not for fixing something at the school. How were we able to use that money?
We would have had to use free cash or some other source, and we had $120,000 of money that they gave.
If something breaks in the schools,
Correct.
where do we pay for it from?
We would have to pay, if it was over the 35,000, we'd have to raise and appropriate some way.
But, so how did we pay for this?
Where does it
Where did
hit?
that-
She wants to understand, where does it hit? What line item does it hit?
It hit the assessment line item.
It
Always?
always hits regardless.
If there's money in there, it was, you know, it was an assessment that we had no control over. I mean, this came, you know, from not just one person's decision, that was what was decided as for the.
I'm not asking, I'm not pointing fingers. I wanna know if we had not gotten that, if we'd not gotten any.
Then we would have
back
had
from
a
it.
special town meeting in August to take it from stabilization.
To pay for that bill.
Yes.
And so we should have, maybe, because, I mean, to be transparent, we know what this was and what this was and this was.
So we have a $29 million budget. There is absolutely no way that we can have a line item for every single expenditure. They are estimates and they are for a purpose. Now, certainly, no one in the selectmen or finance committee or, the finance team or the TA would have said, use the building department alternate wage account for this. Of course, no one would have done that. But it was within the school line item for the school, and there was an excess. I don't feel like there was anything not transparent there, or.
So
But
here's
I'm
the,
saying, if we had not gotten that back,
so I'm gonna.
Then we would have had the cost to call a special town meeting in August just to take it out of
And
stabilization.
then the other problem with that is, and to go with what Carol just said, we have a special town meeting in August, and it doesn't get voted. It goes down.
Then the school does not open, because I believe.
School couldn't have opened.
The school could not have opened with that. I mean, that would have created.
District-wide
And maybe
problem.
we could have gotten there, yes, but, you know,
So,
without this repair, the school would not have opened.
and I know we're not in 100% being transparent, but that item influences 7,500 kids that go to every school because of their contract. If one school's closed, all schools are closed.
But I don't see why you're saying it's not track. This line that we voted at town meeting was an X amount of dollars that's gonna go to Wachusett. It happened to be that they didn't bill us for the full amount.
Correct.
So that money was designated for Wachusett, and that was where the money went to. They just gave us another bill it was another assessment from them for a particular item. So that came down with this, I don't see any problem with
Wachusett bill
that.
us for that?
Yes, they did.
They paid
I-
it, and then we bill it.
I don't think it's transparent. I don't think that anyone was trying to hide anything. I think it
Right,
just
exactly.
isn't
All right,
transparent.
so if it's not transparent, I don't know how we do it in the week and a half that unfortunately they had.
we wouldn't have.
That you couldn't, and that has, the school would have paid for it. They would have paid for it, and then we would have promised like a
Yeah.
pinky promise that we're gonna pay them back.
Right.
But here,
But then it puts you into that, if they don't get it this year, they're gonna assess it next year to
No,
us.
I'm not saying that we couldn't have done that and had said, hey, guys, the school's giving back 120, we'd like to spend out of that 120, the whatever amount for the
they're budgeting the same way that we are, right? Like they're working towards an estimated budget that they don't know what of it they're gonna bleed down, and then you have this thing happen, and they could have been in the hole. They may have just waited to update our bill as we went through the year and said like, sorry, it's whatever, 70,000 higher.
Well,
But it's-
kinda, sorta, but they have to tell us, cause it's over the 35. It's
Right,
in-
but they
it's in
could
an
have, I
agreement.
mean, and the state funding could have come in lower than expected, and our
Correct.
assessment would have gone up.
Right.
Correct.
To me,
And then we would have been right back in the same
So,
spot.
for the sake of transparency, but also protecting ourselves, could we keep the money there in case something happens, but add to the explanation on the town meeting warrant article that the assessment was reduced by X dollars. We've spent X dollars on this for the water heater, and then we'll have X dollars remaining, and we're keeping it aside for future potential unexpected, however we say it nicely. So that we're sharing it, but we're also keeping it.
So that means that the raise and appropriate, the amount of taxes, we are higher in paying higher taxes for something that's probably not gonna get spent. Potentially could not get spent.
you already paid for it.
I get it,
That's
but I mean,
the remaining money.
right.
Yeah, but
But the thing comes in where if you're having a problem on a fixed income making your payments, that might make a difference. I don't know.
Devil's
Yeah.
advocate, and maybe I'm misunderstanding, couldn't that be said for anything that we turn back at the end of the year, that somebody paid their taxes for that line item, we didn't spend it all, and we turned it back to free cash?
And I am in agreement. But Wachusett is perennially a hot button in town, and I think for a change, it would be nice to give them the kudos that they gave us a discount. And I am not the one to wanna give them kudos 98% of the time.
the only reason they gave us a discount was because they got funding. And we've been beating them up for years, if they get that
And
stuff, get it back
and
to
that's
us.
fine, but we got it.
But I think you could give them kudos and keep the money.
So, but you wouldn't really have an article to discuss at that point, right? So you'd have to say that we're reducing the assessment by like $500, right? To be able to put all this on an article.
No, I think you would add it to the explanation for the article that we're using to do everything that's on that sheet.
Okay, fair enough.
So can I, just for the point, I think unless someone's got something good to say or something interesting to say, we should bring it to a vote, but I'd like to read what the motion was, just so everybody in the
Can I
group, go ahead,
just say one more
absolutely.
thing, quick, going back to what Seth said earlier, and I think was, so the other thing could be that you said to have the money available if something did happen during the year. We could go back in there and take the reserve fund number and bump that up even higher too.
Yep.
And that would give us an access to money if there was an emergency,
Sure.
then,
Yep.
and then if we don't use it, it goes back to free cash.
Absolutely.
But unfortunately, we have to go to a town meeting to do it.
No,
No, you're doing it now.
we're gonna do it right now.
No, we're doing it now.
Okay.
Yep,
We could do it right now.
yep. So we could reduce the 60,000, we could put the 60,000, just bump yours.
So we need to amend the motion if we wanted to do
If
that?
that's up to
Well,
Karen.
yeah, if you wanna do that, I'm not saying to do that, I'm just,
I
that
like
would be a
that
way
idea.
that would be a
Okay.
way to
Yep.
do it.
That's fine.
I rescind my first motion, you have to rescind yours if you
I'm
agree.
rescinding my second.
Okay, so now I'm like the motion that we reduce Wachusett assessment by $60,900 and move that $60,900 to the reserve fund.
Okay, done. Oh, sorry.
Gotta get a second first.
Second.
All right,
Wondered about
so,
your
just a point of clarity for Darren,
Right.
so if we need $40,000 to fix something, we still have to go to a town meeting or not?
No, you go to the reserve fund.
Reserve
come to
fund,
us.
and that can come-
That's our meeting.
If it's,
That's our money.
if it's emergency
Right.
and unforeseen.
Yep.
That's all,
Yep.
Thank you very much, I wanna be 100% clear.
Correct. Thank you.
Does anybody have any other to say about this?
No,
Ted, go ahead.
So a couple of things. A, does that come off as self-serving for the finance committee in terms of the discussions we've been having about transparency? And B, does it somehow get acknowledged that, as Karen was saying before, that we've gotten this money back? Is there some
I think
way
this is
that
an
that
explanation, we
happens?
should say it.
Yeah.
in the
I mean, if anyone ever asks, we can
So,
say it, so.
The
but-
motion will be to raise and appropriate X number of dollars and to reduce the Wachusett assessment by $60,900 to
By
fund.
putting it in the reserve fund.
Well, no, the reserve fund will be free cash. So all this you'll see the motion when you get the warrant article, so,
Plus, I think it's an easy explanation.
yeah.
Everyone knows we have aging school buildings.
Right.
But that can be said at the town meeting when this is going on.
Well,
We
it
get-
now could be taken by the treasurer's office to go after delinquent taxes. It could be taken by
But I'm
this
just-
building to fix their boiler.
To address what you are saying is that can be said at town meeting. We can say, here's what we're doing. That's transparency. I mean,
But
if you
this-
get up and tell them exactly what we're doing.
The 7 of us have
Why would
chosen to put it to the reserve fund. I would hope that the 7 of us would make sure that that $60,900 stayed specifically so that, God forbid, something happened to the schools.
Correct.
That's what my question was gonna be.
Yep.
We're trying to
So
do.
we have that,
It's emergency
Jurisdiction.
funding, right? If
Tommy, that's a good
if the
suggestion.
proverbial,
But it could be
Stuff
used for
hits the
something else
fan.
too, but it was be mainly, we'd try to,
We're trying to
Try
go
not
to
to-
the court, if
right.
there's an emergency, we gotta do what we gotta do, but.
But we could definitely, us 7 here could make sure that we remember that that's what it is.
Absolutely. But
You won't
hopefully,
forget.
next June, we put 60,900
about you
into free
forgetting.
cash.
Okay,
Okay.
is that? Anybody have anything else? All those in favor? Aye.
Thank you.
Anyone opposed? Anyone abstain?
Thank you. Okay, next is highways. Not fully restoring, everything. We're gonna be halfway through the year for highway wages, so we're only putting 40,000 back. He still has a vacancy right now. It's not fully restoring, but it's helping.
Gonna get them through the rest of the
Yeah.
year.
is there things that we can do particularly right now that we can catch up on, or is that just like? forget it?
As far as catching up, as far as what?
Maintenance, you know? We didn't have supplies, right? We didn't have a lot of supplies.
Yeah, I think Chris is comfortable with what this is right now. And he's working on a pavement management plan for the spring with all the chapter 90 money. So there'll be a lot of road work projects being done through chapter 90 next year.
It would be fantastic to get some kind of report that says like, this is the average age of the road.
Sure.
There is one.
There is one.
Yeah.
We can get you one.
Yep.
It's not,
It's a little outdated, but it's.
It's a couple
it's
years
good-
old, but could you get that?
2021.
Yeah.
But it's pretty good though.
Yeah.
It's,
No, it just, you know, like how much
Right
money,
today.
like there's, I feel like there's a wave coming,
right,
just looking at our
4
neighborhood.
years ago, right.
There's a wave
Double.
coming and I kinda wanna see it coming rather than getting hit by
the
it.
good thing is that the report that was done in 2021, there hasn't been a lot of work, if any at all,
No.
on anything, so you can add 5 years to and you'll know right where that's at. Could you forward one of those copies to, well, that would be perfect. Does anybody else need one?
Okay.
The
Could you put it on the drive
commission
to me?
report?
Yeah.
Actually,
you.
just the drive will be fine for me.
Okay.
Still won't?
Yeah.
Okay, and take Ludwig's to Tommy, print it,
All
perfect.
right.
Seth, I do have a question about the
Sure.
highway OT.
Yeah.
He only spent, what, a little over 20,000 last year,
Yep.
and he's asking for almost 70,000?
So some of that money that was in that line item was moved to cover the snow and winter deficit. So that was what was left. Well, that's what he's expended. So is that right, Donna? Yeah, so you can't really look at what the final numbers are in the final expenditures at DPW because a lot of that money was moved to cover the snow and ice deficit.
It would be so nice if these reports could give us, this was what your budget is, right, or your final your budget is.
Yep.
And this is what got moved to cover, so you could see it, you know what I mean?
Even if it was a little red asterisk that you could go and look and
Every
find.
one of them would have a note.
Well, yeah,
With
every single
We
one.
love that red asterisk.
I mean, we were
Actually,
fortunate last year that Chris had enough vacancy, and due to lack of labor shortage, that he was able to move enough money around to cover the large deficit in snow and ice without having to go to free cash or any other available funds.
Which is a weird place to be in.
Yes,
Which, again, when we don't see that, and you think that he was living on $20,000, why does he need 75? So why would you give him 75 next year in the budget? So, and if those aren't real numbers then, right? Cause you say things got moved around, but we don't know
What got moved?
what got
I
moved.
don't know how we create that report, but I understand what you're saying. How do you get,
Cause I mean, I think one of the problems that we're spending hours now rectifying is, you know, what were the real numbers? And so we're looking at the real numbers, but they're not real in a lot of places, so. Or some places, I won't go to.
Yeah,
Well,
the-
they're
the
real,
re-
but it's how do you get to that last number?
The request exceeded what was needed, which allowed it to cover, and then the question's like, okay, so why did you budget it in the first place if you had
Or, and
extra?
why should we do it again next year?
And then,
if-
well, that's exactly right.
That's what
exactly
I'm
the
looking
next question.
for is-
Although we didn't have a lot of snow this year, did we?
oh, we had a
Had
couple.
tons of,
No,
We had a lot of
you had to
ice.
cover
lot of
snow and
ice,
ice
yeah.
deficit.
Seth,
That's why it's not.
continue on.
okay.
It's actually more expensive.
Yeah, it's like 3 times or something crazy
Yeah, I
thing.
remember that being
Okay.
said to us. but-
Last page starts with Board of Health. Should be the last page.
Is the wood studio increases, are those gonna be sufficient? I know I went back, but are they gonna be sufficient for having an office in there now?
They're paying the utility bills. Yeah, they're covering the utility bills. That's just if something happens with the furnace or anything.
So did they run out of office space? Is that why? Someone asked me the other day and
So unfortunately, the way things have happened over the years, there was office space, again, the fire chief's office and the police is in the police station. And the fire department secretary was outside my door. And then there was another office that was designated for the fire department. Well, that original office got taken by the police several years ago, so the fire department lost that space. The secretary, we have not had a fire department, a permanent full-time or part-time secretary in that desk. So when we took on the deputy chief several years ago, there was no office to put him in. So he was at the secretary's desk outside the office, listening to the detective interview people. It's the worst setup ever to be the fire department to be in the police station due to confidentiality and stuff. So the deputy requested to be moved into an office. Dispatch had taken over the old kitchen or the break room in the building. So now they've vacated that space and the deputy's now in that office. So
okay.
that's where so it's the building's too small for what's going on in that building now.
With confidentiality and all
Yeah,
that
it's
crap
just,
that we-
yeah, so that's why that happened.
Moving along, sir.
All right, so basically this is Board of Health, Council on Aging, Veteran Services, and Library Purchase Services. So Library Purchase Services, they asked for the total of $35,000. And it's coming in 3 different buckets. 5,000 is coming through raise and appropriate. 4,500 is the repair to the elevator, that needs to be done. And then the 26,000 are, the several articles related to the library that are being closed out and repurposed, going back.
Do you have the opportunities as town administrator to run it to ground? Are you confident that they're good with these numbers?
Yeah,
Because there was a lot of
nope, Carrie and I sat down, the library board of trustees submitted their request for that amount. And this is the way they was discussed and how it was promised to them that it would be funded through consolidation of those accounts, closing out those accounts.
that's what we were gonna try.
Yep, and that's what was happening here.
Perfect.
Okay. Okay, the very bottom number is, first number, 335,000 is through raise and appropriate. Okay, so remember that number. 102,000 is free cash, and the 26,000 is through the transfer of those articles. Obviously, the raise and appropriate is gonna, I'm sorry, the free cash is gonna go up by the 69,000 because we're adding that to your reserve fund. So your free
Then
cash.
you're doing that, raise and appropriate, you're just moving it from one. So the 30,000 is raise and appropriate through free cash, but the 60,000 is,
Going to the reserve fund.
From the reason.
Raise and appropriate
Oh,
will
right,
go
right,
up
yes,
by
yes,
60.
yes, yeah, okay, yep, okay.
so that number doesn't change, you're just
Right.
moving
It
it.
Just moving
changes
it,
which
that's right.
bucket it goes
Yeah,
to.
okay, perfect.
Well, no, it is gonna change,
Yeah,
because you're you're adding it back.
Right.
The 335 will change, it will increase by the 60,090.
Yep,
Okay,
okay, alright.
Just quick question, the rabies control, they spent $50 in '25, but they're asking now for a total of $1,000.
I
know
think,
what's
I
going
don't
on?
know. Be honest with you, I can't answer that question.
Seth, I got a comment from a taxpayer the other day that said the stormwater penalty and then the additional percentage on it isn't fair. Is that legal what they're doing?
So.
Did we vote that at a town meeting?
So penalties and fees, charged to late fees on any type of bill, is set by Mass General Law.
So they can, it's the $25
Yep.
is legal.
Yep.
Plus the,
The fee,
okay,
yep. And they can by law, they're only allowed to, the treasurer collector's office can only allow up to $15. They can waive up to $15 of late fees. So other than that, they have to pay it.
And there's a lien on your property.
I can send you the Mass General Law that explains it.
no, it's cool, I just,
I think a lot of confusion was people that are not on water and sewer just thought it was a utility bill, and they're like, I don't have water or sewer, why am I getting this? They didn't understand
yeah,
it.
but I think
Yeah.
the number is considerable.
Yeah, well, it's considerable, it's no different if you have an excise tax on a trailer and your excise tax comes for $5. And that's
Then
what
you
the
get a
value, and then you get a $25 if you're late, same thing, same with dog
It's the same,
licenses.
it's the same thing,
Yeah.
but people just,
Yes,
this whole thing
yep,
bothered a lot of people.
yep,
It already sits wrong, so that's
Yep.
another.
I think there's a fundamental misunderstanding that stormwater is not something that's just for people that are on town
right,
water
yep,
and sewer.
Yeah.
That's the fundamental
Wow.
misunderstanding, like
And
that
the
is
whole
all the
principle
roads.
of it is kinda, I'm gonna say unfunded mandate
Yeah.
that we don't have a choice in, which is.
That's a separate discussion, I
No,
agree with you.
it is, but this has been a hot button item since the day they proposed it, and when it went up to $100, everybody was like, okay. And then when people didn't pay the $100 or were a couple days, whatever late, they were added more, and they're like, oof.
yep. All right, the last page is, boards and commissions. They were zero funded. I just wanted to, if anyone asked what the number was, if we wanted to put boards and commission stipends back in, it's $7,825. So that's, I'm just looking for direction, yes, no, let the select board decide, whatever you know. I know the question would have come up at some point, either through the planning board or, some other board or commission that would be potentially looking to get that back. So I'm just looking for direction on that. If you want me to put it and let the,
Where is that?
it should be on the back of one of your pages, looks just like this.
It's
It was
the
a
one
separate
before,
page,
Yeah,
I just,
it's on
it's
your
actually
page.
the one before the,
it looks just like the one we just used.
so is it currently in the bottom line?
No, it is not.
335?
No, it is not. Nope,
It's just short.
it's just a short stubby thing.
Let me see what it looks like.
Yeah, no, I found it,
Right.
I just wanna know if you will support it or not.
I think that should go back in.
It will definitely boost our salaries, ours.
I think we need a raise.
We gotta renegotiate our contract.
Well, we got 60 grand to do it now.
Do we need to vote on that? or-
I just need
sure that's
direction.
a-
I'm just looking at a sense of the group
I-
to give me direction if you want me, I can put it back in and,
Let's have a straw poll, how does everybody feel about this?
Everything else was restored to where it's supposed to be, so.
Same.
All those in favor just of restoring it back, just say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
I
Aye.
I am
Okay,
opposed.
one opposed.
Okay.
Any abstentions?
Yep.
Okay,
Was that a formal motion or just
just a straw
A
poll.
straw poll, okay, thank you.
It's all right, I understand. All right. Anything else, sir?
And that's it on that. I'm trying to find. All right. Yeah, I got it. I'm like, this page here, just like this one.
What does
Yep,
it
that's
start
one.
with at the top?
General fund. It's the only one that goes up right, Karen.
Well,
Okay, there it is.
I changed a lot of them the ways
Okay.
you did it, because I like to be able to see the numbers.
General funds.
Okay. Obviously FY '25, the middle column, the FY '26 town meeting estimates, this is what we went to town meeting with for revenue. The only thing that has changed is what's highlighted in green.
Yes, sir.
Okay, or in gray for some people. So, as you remember back at the annual town meeting, we estimated new growth of 250. The assessors are confident at 375. Their valuations have gone out to DOR for certification. We should have that true number by the middle to next week. But they feel very strongly and comfortable with that. The overlay, we increased the overlay, so that's a negative. That's we're holding money back and putting it aside. We estimated 105, we put it at 150. This was at the request of the assessors due to,
It's a reval year, and we used more than 105 last year, so.
yeah. So it's just basically just parking money aside for abatements, anything. If it's not used, like 7, 8 years from now, we might get it back. Net state aid, cherry sheet numbers changed just slightly. Okay, so that's a little change there. Local receipts, the $5,079,000, that is the maximum number that Donna was talking about earlier. That's the maximum.
So what does that tax rate go to?
So local revenue is local revenue, that does not affect your tax rate. When we went to town meeting, we were estimating at the highest tax rate. So this is just local revenue, this will not change the tax rate.
So the tax rate will not change.
Not according to what we're talking about tonight. We're funding tonight by increasing our local revenue. So we're putting it very high, and so in essence, we're not putting it, in order to fund what is needed, we're not doing our estimates of revenue low and our estimates of expenses high. We're making our expenses very close to what they will be and our income very close to what they will be. So this year, without the 300,000, we'd had 400,000 left over in local revenue, which is not a huge percentage, This, at the end of fiscal '26, by using this 5 million,
Free cash.
obviously I can't say for sure, but right, I mean,
Yeah.
we may have 100,000, right? But we're at a rainy day, we're trying to fund everything that is needed for our departments.
Okay,
Okay.
great explanation.
All right, then the 452,000 is the additional money that can be raised and appropriated through this. Article 5, which is the budget modification, that number will change a little bit as we just added a couple things back. So right now, it's not excess capacity, it's just available. So whatever's not used, the remaining, we're gonna reduce that 5 million down so we can potentially generate more free cash. That's the intent.
And this all relates to the proposed 2026.
Correct, and that's just what all those line items we went through directly tie into local revenue.
Of the big page. with
Yes,
all the
correct,
numbers.
yep, that's where it directly ties back to,
Okay,
okay? All right, that takes care of that.
So when someone asks at the special town meeting if these restorations are going to raise their tax rate, the answer is no.
Correct.
It is being done by a recalculation of the revenues.
Yep.
that's where I was going with my question.
And I think, and a little deeper on that is, when we do our budget process, we have not finished our fiscal year. We don't know where the revenue would come in. So well, right now, we're starting on fiscal '27. We're gonna start with really low estimates because we have no idea what we're gonna bring in '26, right? And so that's why now we have an actual number, cause the fiscal year is done. And so we can increase that number for what we went to back in May, because that number was finalized in February, right? So, did that help? I mean, if the explanation is necessary at town meeting.
So back in May at the annual town meeting, we didn't have a final number yet. We now have that final number. Looks better than anticipated, so now we're
That's why we will get the
helping things
plus.
out.
Yeah, yep.
But I think to your point, Ted, the raise and appropriate sounds like a tax.
Sounds like a taxation.
More money out of my
Yes,
pocket,
yeah,
so that's
yeah.
gonna have to be.
We have to,
explanation.
someone has to bring it up.
Yeah.
And it won't-
Or it should be in the explanation.
Yep, we put in, yep, we could word that nicely.
That way everyone can read it ahead of time when it's posted on.
Okay.
And then when someone doesn't read it and asks the question
Right,
anyway,
right.
either you or you
Well,
can
it's
explain it to them.
actually, I brought this up a couple times, that you may have forgotten, that I am not gonna be there, so it's
That's
gonna
right,
be
it's
you.
gonna be,
Cause I'm going to be in northern Maine going after the thing with antlers. So,
There are no things with antlers up there, you silly man.
yeah,
He just finds bears instead.
yes.
Alright, let's go.
Okay,
Okay, final thing is basically, we'll start with the proposed free cash plan, is this one. And we have all the different stabilization amounts in here. Again, this ties directly back to the warrant. And I basically
Keep
put
going
the
back.
articles in.
All right,
That's
I'm
the
going.
Third and fourth page in.
I think I'm there.
Okay. All right, there's two prior year bills, that need to be paid.
what are they?
I don't have that,
There's one for the treasurer collector's office for the June lockbox that we did not receive before the end of the fiscal year. There's another one for DPW for a bill that wasn't received.
yeah, the $600 is the backflow water, prevent backflow testing that they did. They didn't get the bill out in time for the public safety building and the DPW building. So that money technically is going to the water department.
Okay,
Okay,
And we did break that down on the warrant.
yeah, so it's clearly,
You can see
yeah,
what it
I'm just
was.
basically showing with them, you know, here's everything passed at town meeting, this is what it is. You talked about requesting a stabilization for the 5% of last year, 5% of this year, and anything that was taken out. Those are the stabilization, capital stabilization, OPEG trust, town portion only, town side of OPEG. Okay, so again, that's 2 prior years of 5% plus anything we took out at the annual town meeting, all right? The adjustment to the budget, 102, that goes back to, again, that may change a little bit as we talked about tonight. The town clerk's office is asked to build a storage closet in the basement of town hall to consolidate all her election storage, because it's split out amongst multiple locations. She's trying to bring it all back into one location. We do this like every 5 years. She's looking for money to binding of records. Police department is asking for a police officer that he advocated for last year. This is for 6-month salary starting January 1st. Again, this is not, none of these have been vetted by the Board of Selectmen whether they will stay or not. I'm just throwing it out there. This is where you could see it. Deputy Fire Chief is asking for a paramedic education fund to send current staff to paramedic school. There's a national shortage of paramedics. He will be there to explain that as well. So with all that said and done, if everything passed, there would be 1.3 million remaining to be used at the annual town meeting to balance the budget, whatever. So it's more than we had last year. We started with a 2.2 at the top, we ended at 1.3 with 60% remaining of the free cash allocated. Again, if you wanna go back to that 700,000 of 911 money, we're really taking all of that money and putting it into our savings account between the three. So that one-time revenue is really going into savings.
So we're gonna fund fiscal year '26 budget with 100 and $2,000.
or thereabouts with the changes that we talked about.
Free cash.
Correct.
Which can't come out of, because there's not enough headroom, the actual
Correct.
revenue
Yep.
projection.
And again, these are going into budget adjustments for one-time expenses.
Oh, okay,
Okay.
that's better. All
Okay,
right. Got it.
all right. Water and sewer retained earnings, they're at 815,000.
Except the police officer.
Right, yes. No, the police officer is a separate line item that, he's talking about the 102.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
Okay,
Yeah. The police officer would be recurring.
correct, yes. And that, again, he's got to make his case and sell it to the select board and you guys.
I don't have a problem with it, but he's gotta
Right.
sell it.
Yep. Water and sewer retained earnings, again, he's got a couple prior year bills. This one is OPEG trust from water and sewer. This one can stay, it can come out. The trust fund, currently, when we get to the other side, is funded at the right amount. But the policy says to put 5% into OPEG, so that's why it's showing. Again, this is a policy decision if the select board want to keep it or not. I'm just putting it there. He's requesting money for sewer pump station repairs, chemical pump for the water treatment plant. Several hydrants around town, if you notice, have some bags over them. They're broken, so he's looking to repair those. This is the funding for the water meter replacement program, the $175,000. That's the first year start to get it going.
What's the benefit of that, Seth?
They're more reliable and
They're gonna generate more money for
They're
don't
using a battery that can't be replaced, so they're defunct,
Yeah.
actually, from what I remember.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So,
Thank you.
Again, this is a several year project to get them
Now,
done.
how does that, I'm sorry, the
ahead.
$25 that is being
Yep.
tagged on every
It's in,
quarter,
that he's
so
got tonight.
$100 every quarter is going to be $400 collected for
It's
this, so
up
we're
in,
looking to pay it up front.
She definitely needs
And
to
I
put it
thought we were
there.
gonna try to get a
It's right
loan
there.
for this.
Yep.
It was
supposed to
you,
go
Get yours
for it.
early?
Okay, all right.
but
We'll get an answer for you on that.
There it is.
Okay.
Yeah, because we were supposed to.
we're
That
collecting
was,
money and-
that was
Yeah.
what it did say, yep.
Okay, we'll get a question,
Yep.
we'll answer that question for you. And the last one is the water tank repair, they have to go inside the tank and do some repairs to
Can
the
I
tank
have
because
that,
they're weeping.
list of stuff? That's it.
So can I go back to the water meter thing?
Yep.
A while ago, I remember there was a discussion about if you look at what we send out versus what we charge, there was like a discrepancy. What is that discrepancy? And this is hopefully gonna address some of that, right?
Not necessarily, because, we wanna make sure that what people are using, we're capturing what they're using.
Yeah.
But there could be water loss in the water lines before it gets to your house, that's
Do
called,
we consistently audit that?
yes, every year we know exactly what our water loss is.
It'll choke a horse, so you don't want.
Never a water gain?
It's
Never water game.
Drown a horse.
never, you drown like a whole herd of horses.
Get a little bucket.
What, for instance, the center of town last year, they had a big hole there and then they had one down by the cemetery. They documented it, they found that things started bubbling up, they knew they couldn't do things. And
I remember there was like investing there was some kind of audit actually that like found where it probably is
I&I.
occurring.
We spend a lot of money every year with Western Sampson for I&I.
Yeah, but that's for ionized sewer for infiltration.
Right.
But also they go around, there's a listening device to listen for lost water. So,
So when you see the guys walking around with a stethoscope, that's what
no,
they do.
he's just on a little moped and he's riding around, so it's pretty funny.
The sewer
worth it.
pump,
Yep,
is that one of the subdivision?
it has to
sewer
be.
pumps?
it is. It's the Miles Road Pump
I'm
Station.
just gonna say here that
Mm-hmm.
if this town doesn't start
Investing.
asking for $1 million,
Oh, yeah.
if we, and now I'm putting on a former hat, but if, we accept streets and we accept the pump stations with them, and that's never brought up. And
That Miles Road.
this
pump-
is nothing
That's the,
compared to.
that's the hardest working one in town.
Not to cut you off, that Miles Road pump station has cost us a gazillion dollars over the years.
Exactly, and that's what I'm saying, I don't think there's gotta be some change that we don't just accept the streets,
How do you come up with a plan, how do you do it?
we need to charge
Well, how
$1
do we
million.
charge?
You
Charge
want
the
the street,
builders?
yes, or stop. I mean, there's nothing we can do about the ones that exist that we have a liability for, but I don't think we should accept streets because
Articles
they're
of clothing is
huge.
taken out that pump like 2 or 3 times
It's
within,
ridiculous.
yeah, it's scary.
I remember Joe Buckley telling me that it's 3-4 years ago, it was $1 million to replace one of these things.
Okay.
And we're just doing it in $50,000 chunks,
Yep.
so.
All right, the next one is general stabilization.
No, you bring up an excellent point, you shouldn't be sorry for that one, but I don't know how we do it.
Well, we just need to change, yes.
Added
Okay.
to the subdivision rules and regs.
All right, general stabilization shows what our current balance is, the 1.3 million. This is the transfer in that we just showed you earlier, and then the balance of free cash will be 1.5. Okay? Capital stabilization, as you know, we use some of it at the annual, so the ending balance starting July 1st was 62. We're putting in 254. The security system for the public safety building, that's an estimate, that's just a round number, that's an estimate at this point.
Because, why, Seth? Can you
The
justify?
system that's in place is 14 years old, and it failed the other day, and the door, anyone could walk in and off the street. So it has to be replaced. The security system, cameras for booking, aren't working. It's just a big liability
Okay.
for us.
It's up.
Again, that's just a placeholder as far as the amount. CIPC is meeting next Thursday to review this. Last year, the capital planning put forward to replace the fire department pickup. The current pickup would go to the water department for continued use. And so that's on it as well. Both coming forward from CIPC next week. And so that gives you the balance of the 118. OPEB trust, town side, money coming in, puts us at 557. Again, OPEB trust for the water and sewer division. Again, Donna had mentioned that it is funded appropriately, so this 40,000 may not have to go in at this time. So it may stay in retained earnings. But I'll let the Public Works Commissioners decide that, so. So that potentially gives you the balance of 421. The final one is stormwater retained earnings. Unfortunately, when we went to town meeting, it was overlooked that any leases of vehicles must be brought forward to town meeting to be voted on to accept the lease, because technically you're accepting a debt service to the community. Chris is gonna fund, this would have been funded out of last year's money, that's why the retained earnings is so high. So he's gonna start, he wants to pay the first year lease, instead of it being in arrears, he wants to pay it first. So that's where that money is right now.
So, what bothers me about this stormwater is as bad to me as the water and sewer is to Tommy. If we raise 211,000 that we didn't use,
Yep.
we don't need it.
The problem is a lot of the stuff was started and being paid for now.
Okay,
So it's gonna
I understand.
decrease.
Yes. Well, the retained earnings is only decreasing by the 68, so the 142 is gonna stay as retained earnings. And what's gonna end up happening is you're probably gonna be able to go a year or two without having to raise rates on future years. So that's, cause you can offset it with retained earnings. But we're in year 7 of the 10-year storm, whatever it's called. Well, yeah. So at the end of the 10 years, the new permit that's coming out by EPA says you gotta replace, I think, 20% of all of the stormwater structures.
Sure it does.
You know, it's just absolutely astronomical what that's gonna be, so. But what I've shown you tonight is pretty much everything from how free cash came in, how we're addressing some of the shortfalls in the budget, and where money is coming from and going into through special articles. There are several articles, again, related to accepting of streets. There's 4 streets that are proposed. There'll be a public hearing on that on October 20th. However that goes that night, we'll determine whether those roads are placed on the warrant and kept on the warrant. You guys have the joint meeting on October 23rd to vote favorable or give your
On the warrant,
on the warrant.
and we're gonna get the warrant a couple.
You'll have it a week or so before, absolutely. And then the following Monday, the select board will vote to sign the warrant, then it'll be posted in time for the meeting.
The sooner the better we get it.
Yep.
Okay,
All right.
there's something burning at your brain.
I just was trying to remember a conversation we had. I thought that we asked to have it so that we could have a meeting to talk about it before we sat with the select
absolutely
board
did.
meeting, so.
And I think the schedule says that they gave us, right? Does anyone have their?
It's
Well, your
posted on the
calendar.
town website, different night, Seth and I worked really hard last week to get the warrant completed. We had to wait until the warrant closed, which was, Friday the 19th.
Yep.
And then, by the end of last week, we had completed 30 warrant articles and submitted it to town council. Unfortunately, we don't have any control over how quickly town council turns that document around. We did ask that they please provide it to us at least 7 days prior to your October 23rd meeting, so that you'll have time to review it. But I truly don't think we could have churned out that warrant any faster than we did.
Well, I don't think it's,
And with the recommendations that you made tonight on putting some of these things, we can actually put the right numbers in where they need to go as well.
didn't we get the last? We got a copy of the schedule, from somebody, didn't we? Am I? Right here. 2027 schedule.
Oh, no, that's not for special town meeting, that's for next year's budget.
That's
No,
annual.
but it had special town meeting on here.
No, that's next year. There's a separate schedule for the special town meeting, it's posted on the website on the special town meeting page.
Could you,
I'm pulling it up now, it takes a
I
few
think it
clicks,
was a
it's not
calendar
just
of
click, click,
events
click.
is what we're talking
Click
about,
about
and I
12
thought
places.
there was a line item in that calendar of events where we were gonna discuss
okay,
articles.
Yep, that's October 23rd,
That's it?
that's it, that's correct.
but we wanted to
You want
have a
to,
little prep before.
you want a
we-
separate meeting on the 16th before that?
Well,
We probably
I think the
wouldn't
goal
get
was to
warrant
influence-
before then.
the goal was to influence the articles, right? Or discuss
I
it
don't understand why we
collaboratively.
can't get it before
Yeah, we'd
it
not
comes
do it.
back from legal.
I know,
The
but
problem is then you're putting out multiple versions of a warrant that likely is gonna have changes on it. Because we're doing the best we can to word them, but oftentimes they come back with a lot of revisions from town council.
But if it's
So it-
noted as a draft,
If it's noted as a draft, you can at least get a basic understanding of the article, and you say, okay, here's a new one that changes it, you throw the old one away.
So
We
we,
do that with tons of papers.
alright, so we would have it firmed up, if we wanted to meet a week before, we could do it, right? Seth, is that what you're saying?
Yep.
If they have it.
Yeah, we are likely not gonna be able to get that to you several days in advance of the October 16th meeting.
If we decide to make a meeting on October 16th.
Whatever version we have at that point, you'll have something to look at. It may be a draft, it may
Make it and
be,
then cancel it. I mean,
yeah,
You're talking finance committee.
Finance committee meeting.
yeah.
What we had talked about, and Carol was right, that we were gonna have at least a meeting to discuss it and come up with a strategy, a game plan for the 23rd.
Yeah, because we gotta, that's a thumbs up, thumbs down meeting, right?
Yes,
So we should discuss amongst ourselves to get to that conclusion.
I think that's what we were thinking, it would save time.
So
and
the
we would have
16th is 2 weeks from tonight.
which would be okay.
Then
We
We
can-
meet on the 14th with the selectmen too?
Correct.
Do,
Oh, yeah.
that guy from
That
Star
Vader.
Wars.
Vadar,
Vadar.
Yeah.
Darth.
Vadar.
Dun, 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 okay. I'm regressing,
And then the
so,
23rd is the joint meeting with,
correct.
about this, okay.
So I would propose that we do it on the 16th. And hopefully the Red Sox are still in the playoffs so we can
That sounds
go
good.
quickly again. Sound good? All right. Is there, 2027 budget? Is there anything we can talk about that tonight? I don't think, let's get through this special town meeting.
Only thing for 27's budget is, the request all departments for capital planning has been submitted to capital planning for their review. They're gonna gather all that information. It was due Wednesday.
And they're presenting it.
No, they won't be presenting, they're just gathering it right now. They'll meet through the month of October to score them, and then they'll present it, I think it's sometime in November, they'll present it.
You know, we're one of the only towns in the district that doesn't have a finance committee member on that.
There's, wasn't there another
Capital planning.
request from the select board to submit
Oh, and
budget
that's,
requests?
they beat that
Next year.
seven?
Yes, that's gone out, yes.
It's not.
That's happening?
It's-
Yes, that's in the process,
That's
that, you'll
not
get
how it
that
says
December, they're due back to you.
Who's the five
Interpretation
people
sooner.
in charge?
Yeah, but I think it's early December, they're back to Donna to put it out, so we'll have expenses for you. We may not have the revenue yet,
There's been
yeah, but you'll have the.
several rulings that the finance
Sure
committee
it's
doesn't have.
December, I thought
A
we were
motion
on
to
it.
adjourn, anybody? Oh, okay.
We have to write a letter to the school to ask them to come to discuss with us.
Yeah, what
What
meeting
they
do
are.
we, so it would be a meeting after the
It could be
twenty-third.
after the, but we should send a note now to get that on their
Yes,
calendar. Cause if we don't, it'll be March.
So
Seth, do you have a
whatever
planned
finance
meeting with
committee
them?
meeting we wanna have after the twenty-third.
No, I do not. I know the school, the subcommittee on facilities, have made their recommendation for the capital plan request for the schools. So it hasn't been finalized yet, so hopefully we can at least get that
Are we
very
getting a
quickly.
new school?
That's the discussion, that they may start the process of moving forward with either large, roof, window repairs, the front of Glenwood,
In Naquag?
Naquag is, the question is on Naquag is, do they add on to that building, or do they abandon that building and build a brand new building? So, those are the big highlights coming down the road, so.
Worth a
You said, do we
conversation.
get one? Like it's a Christmas present.
Yeah, I know. You get one, I get one, yeah.
Well, it's gonna be a painful Christmas present.
Yeah. Yep, so,
What
So-
do
We'll
we
have a
want
box
to-
to play in.
Can we at least write a note and say we'd like them to come to see us and after the 23rd of October?
yeah. They are committed to meet with the CIPC to discuss their, capital requests as well. This will be the first year ever, so.
At what point do we want them?
I don't know,
So
before March.
November sixth would be 2 weeks after the twenty-third.
And at that point, you're just waiting for the town meeting, the special town meeting. You're really not doing much at that point. So that'd be a good time to bring them in.
By the 23rd or the 16th, we should come up with kind of an agenda that we wanna set, or give them some feedback to what we would like them to prepare for. Would that be fair? Like that date?
Which day was it?
Sixth of November is the Thursday, 2 weeks after the 23rd.
So, that being said, what are we gonna ask, what should we include, the topics that we're gonna do that, what topics do we want them to come in with? A reasonable assessment of where their next year budget is gonna be over this year? Are we gonna look for a 3 to 5 year forecast at that meeting? What are we gonna ask them to?
So your first item, a discussion of what the drivers are for the budget going past year, right? Like, well, we see that umpty squad contracts are now good until whatever, so we're gonna be fairly stable, minus insurance, the outlook kind of thing. And then put a bug in his ear about the maintenance contract.
Yep.
The regional agreement.
Yep.
For and that particular aspect.
At least get them to start thinking about getting together with the towns
Yeah,
earlier than
And
later.
then, okay. It goes down to me.
So the biggest driver is the student population number. That's gonna be the biggest driver, cause if the district
And we will
loses
know
kids
that.
again, we will be hold harmless again from the state. And two, if we had 120 real estate transfers last year, there were only 40 new construction, the rest were older homes. So if those homes aged out, we had kids aged out and the younger families came in, if our student population increases greater than the other communities, our percentage of the whole could increase. So that 8% could be 10% to us.
I think
So-
that's really a very important point.
Well,
right?
it's 8% their budget.
Overall, correct.
Their
Not the
budget is
assessment,
8%. Our assessment of that.
Yeah,
Has to do with the student
Correct.
population, which
Population.
our student population could be going up.
right, as others are going
Regional
down.
could go down.
Right,
The district is held harmless, and we get a double whammy of
We're harmed.
yes. Yeah, cause right
that's-
now, we're at 24% of their budget. Next year, we could be 25% or whatever. So if it moves that drastically.
And we'll
the
know
increase-
that by our meeting with
We'll
them?
know, once we have that student population, we'll know immediately.
Okay.
Yeah, that you could take what the last year's assessment was, you figure out what the new percentage is, add 8% to that as overall, and you can come up with a pretty darn close number.
Okay, perfect.
And you'll know if you're in hold harmless.
Correct, yep.
Anything else?
Now, go ahead. I just wanna make sure we got that on the docket, because otherwise time goes by and we lose
Tamika's
out.
got, I can send that, we'll just send it over.
Thank you. Thank you for having me this evening.
Thank you.
Thank
Any
you.
motion to adjourn?
Self-preparation.
Second.
Second. Second.
Thank you, Lynn.